Joe Biden has done worse things to black people than Donald Trump ever has.
For real.
Hell yeah, man. The 88 crack laws?
Is Joe Biden good?
Nah, I mean, it's tough.
I got questions.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to expediTIously, man. I am TIP. And, man, this is an incredible episode today, man. I have a close player partner of mine, someone who I feel privileged enough to call my brother. Also, this gentleman is known for being the co-host, the most outspoken co-host of the nationally syndicated hip-hop iHeartRadio program, The Breakfast Club, the most dangerous radio show in the country. He's considered hip-hop's Howard Stern and has become a force and an influencer in the culture. He's an executive producer with his own production company, See the God World, and co-host of the popular podcast Brilliant Idiots. He's also a New York Times best-selling author 2 times over of his with his 2 critically acclaimed books, Black Privilege and Shook One. Although he's widely known as Charlamagne, he may be widely and worldly acclaimed as a self-proclaimed family fan who is still a Southern charmer from the world of... What the fuck
Who wrote
is y'all
that?
writing? What is this? This is too wordy. All right, so look, this is what we gonna do, man. So we got Charlamagne in here for the Breakfast Club.
My brother,
man,
what's
you know
happening,
what I'm
Tip? You good?
Hey, man, so listen,
That shit made me sound like I'm really out here doing something with my life.
Hey, man, for real, but look, though, how much getting used to does being a best-selling author, New York Times best-selling author, like how long does it take to get used to that?
To be honest with you, I don't think about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think about it until I'm in certain situations, in certain circumstances, or I hear it, like how you just said it just now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, I am a 2-time over New York.
I'm talking about twice, though.
Twice, yeah.
That's dope.
I don't think nothing of it, because in my mind, I'm still that kid on the dirt road in Moncks Corner, South Carolina.
Yeah, now speaking of Moncks Corner, South Carolina.
Yes, sir.
First of all, man, where exactly, could you please share with the listeners, where the fuck is that?
If you ever been to Charleston,
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
it's like 20, 25 minutes from Charleston, South Carolina. It's a small town, and when I was growing up, the population was like 7,000, 8,000.
Damn.
Now it's about 10,000. And it's this in between, like Charleston, if you're going down I-26, in between Orangeburg, Columbia.
Yeah, but he came from there. What are you talking about?
No, I mean,
A lot of white people, though. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying?
what I'm saying. There's a lot.
Growing up, my dad used to always be like, look at them damn crackers.
Damn.
It was that kind of town.
That's
Damn.
how
Yeah, because it was the guys that used to ride around with the pickup trucks with
Right.
with the Confederate flag
Right.
on it. You know what I'm saying? They shotgun in the window.
Yeah.
So it was always that like, I don't want to say racial tension, but you know, we were aware of what we were around.
I mean, there's always conflict.
Yes.
There's always been conflict. So I mean, is it mostly farmland? Like, is it a?
Yeah, it's a rural area. I grew up on
Okay.
a dirt road, cornfields all around my mother's house.
Sheesh.
You know, we used to play in the cornfields. When that movie Children of the Corn came out, we was all shook. We used to run through the woods.
Whoa.
You know, when I got into my days of, you know, selling drugs.
Yeah.
We would hit the woods when the police came. Like, it's country.
Yeah.
Super country. I'm trying to think, what's the closest you probably been there?
Charleston,
I know you've been to
probably.
Charleston. I know you've been to Columbia.
Yeah.
You never been to Orangeburg? You used to do them small towns in
I
South
did,
Carolina at one
but
point.
it's so far back, I don't really recall
Yeah.
so well. I know that we ran into each other, man, when you were a radio personality on the radio station. Was it Columbia?
Columbia, South Carolina.
In Columbia, South Carolina. And I mean, you were always one that was known for, you know, you were a shock jock even back then.
You know what's so crazy about the term shock jock is funny to me because it's like, what's shocking about, I guess, just speaking your mind? You know, what's shocking about just being honest with your observations?
This is true.
Because I've seen real shock jocks that'll do stuff like sacrifice pigs in cathedrals.
What?
Oh yeah,
Is that a
yeah.
shock jock? What is that?
That's what I'm saying. But they would do
That's
things.
some
They
other
would
shit.
they
I
would
don't
do
know
things
what the
like
fuck
that
that
on
is.
purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like to get a shock out of people. Like I wasn't trying to get
Not that bad.
a rise out of people. Nah, like they thought it was shocking. I remember the first time you came to the Big DM. I don't know if it was the first time, but you was in between albums.
Okay.
'Cause you already had dropped I'm Serious.
Right.
And I think you had just did the deal. No, I don't think you did the deal with Atlantic yet.
Okay.
And you had 24s on white label.
Right.
And you came to the station like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. It was you and C-Rod.
Okay.
And me playing 24s.
Right.
without consulting the program director,
That was a big deal.
that was considered shocking.
That was a big deal.
You know, that's not shocking. I'm like,
You playing music. I understand
absolutely.
how they try to control the DJ's ability to break music when that's what the DJ is supposed to be in place for.
Well, that was back in the day when they was really taking money to play records. So being that you didn't have a label situation, they was like, what is you playing that for?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, how much of your method of interviewing is reflective of your true personality, and how much sauce are you putting on it, you know what I'm saying, just to be provocative, and because that's what people kind of expect from Charlamagne.
I don't think I do it anymore. It was a period where I used to do that, especially when you get caught up in the when you start seeing magazines and shit say like the hip hop Howard Stern,
Right?
Which I don't like because you don't never see them compare a white guy to a black guy.
That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
Like to me, he not. I like Howard, I respect him,
Right?
But he not the bar for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. The bar for you, what would the bar be?
I mean, I like Petey Green, man.
Yeah, Petey Green was the truth.
And Petey was Howard OG.
Yeah.
Petey had a TV show that he put Howard on back in the day before everybody knew who Howard Stern was.
Petey Green from D.C.
Yep.
I know Damani definitely know who he was.
Yeah, Petey Green from D.C.,
Don Cheadle did a movie about him.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Talk to me. I think he kind of helped. He was like one of the main radio personalities for Radio 1 early on.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I think Kathy Hughes, her pops, kind of put him in position, and he was just a very outspoken but down with the people kind of, you know what I'm saying, almost on some, if you would have took Rudy Ray Moore and put him on the radio.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And that actually fucked me up, though, when they started calling me the hip-hop Howard Stern.
Yeah, that's not the right matchup.
So exactly. So when I start paying attention, I always have paid attention to Howard. So I'm like, well, damn, what do they like about Howard? So that'll have you in there sniffing J-Lo's seat and shit. You know what I'm saying? Bringing porn stars in there and tying them up.
We have a class about just honesty.
Yeah,
but it was a period.
It was a level of integrity that comes with your work.
It was a period I was doing that bullshit, though. It was a split second.
I mean, it was a period where that shit was just kind of like, it was like status quo. When you think about, of course, they call you a shock jock, but when I think about the differentiation between you and other personalities like Star and Buck Wild, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever been concerned with going too far?
Nah, because I think I have a different level of integrity that keep me from doing things that they did that I just would never think about doing. Like, I'm not going to insult nobody's children.
Right.
I'm not going to threaten nobody's children. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to, make no jokes about nobody's children in the way that Star did with Envy's kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to.
Oh, wow.
I'm not gonna play plane
I didn't
crash.
know about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, he got a
regular
regular
shit was wild. Shit was wild.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna play plane sound effects crashing when somebody died. Like I'm not gonna do all of that. You know what I'm saying? Well, by the way, some people might look at some things that I've said and be like, "Well, I wouldn't do that."
Well, I haven't heard you really say. I just heard you be complically honest at times.
That's what I attempt
brutally.
to be.
But sometimes,
but it's cool though. I think that's necessary.
Yes,
because a lot of motherfuckers need to be put in their place.
That's a fact.
You know
the game need referees.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers get carried away with themselves.
That's why I like when guys like you started to be more vocal outside of the music.
I mean, I feel like once you get to a certain level in your career, you've kind of earned the right. Your legacy allows you to be more outspoken.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate that, man. I mean, I appreciate being able to be in that position. So this is new for me, you know what I'm saying? This, the podcast.
It seemed like you've been doing this your whole goddamn life.
You're doing very well.
I listened to both episodes with Killer Mike. I listened to the Alex Jones episode, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Wow.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Man, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Listen, man, Alex, he got some information, but it's a lot of cap on there.
He sound like a black Israelite to me.
Yeah, it's a lot of cap.
No, for real. You ever talk to the black Israelites?
I've listened to
Which
him on the
one?
corner.
What city?
New York.
Oh yeah.
Like if you ever read Behold the Pale Horse, like the stuff he's saying ain't too far fetched.
I read that in 2000. That blew my mind. But I thought it was just a bunch of bullshit. The silent war. And all that shit. Now I see it. It's taking effect.
That book spooked me.
It's taking effect.
And that's why I say with somebody like Alex, I think I think he's telling the truth about a lot of stuff.
Me too.
Because I look at.
But I think he throw some bullshit in there to kind of throw you off of what he is actually telling the truth.
I agree with that. Because I look at the people that they ban too. Like, why would you ban somebody like that?
Yeah,
like, if
you
he's not
don't
saying
ban nobody for lying.
That's all I'm saying. Right. If he was just spitting some propaganda and some BS, you'd be like, all right, cool. But the fact that he must be saying something that's true somewhere where somebody wants to silence him.
Now, you as a person, how long, from South Carolina to your migration to New York, how long have you been like a journalist, do you think?
I don't know if I'm a journalist.
What do you mean?
I never considered that title. Like when I look at journalists, I think of like, Barbara Walters, Diane Sawyer.
Okay, I can dig that.
Dan Rather. Like,
so do you don't think that radio personalities can be journalists?
No, I think they can be. I just don't think I'm one. You know what I'm saying? I definitely think they can be. When I think about like the Miss Infos.
Okay.
Angie Martinez, Elliot Wilson.
Okay.
Like they I'm not gonna say they take it a little bit more serious than I do, but I think maybe the defining the definitive factor would be, one is for, say, sharing opinions for the purpose of entertainment, and another one would be kind of like discovering facts. Yeah,
you know what I mean? But I feel like it's a lot of that in what you do. Especially with you got with your latest book, Shook Ones. You attack the stigma of mental health in the African or in the black community. And I feel like that's journalism. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting, because all I was doing was telling my story. You know what I'm saying? I started going to therapy. And when I started going to therapy, I was just keeping a journal of everything that I was experiencing in therapy and the conversations I would have with my therapist. And that turned into the pages of this book. Wow. And I actually was trying to translate what my therapist was telling me. Okay. But I realized that's not what therapy is about. Therapy is just helping me to understand the shit that I've been through, the things that I'm feeling, so I was able to tell the story. So I brought in this guy named Dr. Ish. He graduated from the University of South Carolina. He's a psychiatrist. And so he gave these clinical correlations in the book. So when that shit came out and people started gravitating towards it, and then I'm showing up on shows that I've never been on and speaking in places I've never been speaking at, and they're like, oh, you're a mental health advocate. And I'm like, for real? Wow. That wasn't
a pioneer.
Yeah, that wasn't the intention. You know what I mean?
Well, it was kind of big when you spoke out on it, because that was the only time
a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere too. I'm like, whoa, and that really made me want to go check your book out.
A lot of people felt that way, and I don't think there's enough acknowledgement or consideration given to how much trauma
Lord have mercy.
Not just black men, but black people.
Lord have mercy.
Have endured, and how much is actually being internalized. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
To the point where once you get to a breaking point, when people see the effect of that trauma, then what I'm saying, they label you as crazy.
Absolutely. I mean, shit, you think about it. My father, over Thanksgiving of last year, my father read my book, and my little cousin killed himself. He was 26 years old. That was like the fourth time he tried to kill himself. He cut his wrist one time. That didn't do it. He shot himself in the stomach. That didn't do it. I think he tried to take some pills or something. That didn't do it. And over Thanksgiving, he put the gun in his mouth, blew his brains out. Yeah. So between that and my book, my pops was like, yo, I tried to kill myself 30-something years ago.
Damn.
And then he told me that he was on 10 to 12 different medications throughout his life. And he had been going to therapy. He ain't never told nobody that until Thanksgiving of last year. So I remember going to my mom like, yo, Pops was going through all this shit. And she was like, I thought he was just playing crazy to get a check. Because he has been getting a check for the past 20 years.
Wow.
So it's just like we don't take things serious when our people are going through certain things.
What is that about? Why?
I mean, probably because we dealing with our own shit.
That's a fact.
What it is.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what it is with black people, man? This generation, we the first generation of black men that probably got the luxury of healing.
Some success out of it.
Yeah.
Or with the luxury of healing. This shit is a luxury. You know what I'm saying?
We're abuse victims. I realize that all the time.
We've been blessed with the means to actually afford ourselves some formal help.
Absolutely. You think about our parents. Our parents were just trying to survive. What they say on good times? They were scratching and surviving.
How you gonna pay for a psychiatrist?
Yeah, the psychiatrist was
trying to feed 4 kids.
You can't even pay your gas.
I got your psychiatry right here.
But that's why we turn to drugs. That's why we turn to alcohol. That's why we turn to...
I'm not on drugs, Charlamagne.
What do you
5,
mean?
you definitely on drugs.
We turn to drugs to make that clap. I'm not on drugs.
5, you definitely... Marijuana's a drug, 5.
Drugs, 5. It's okay though,
medicine.
man. This is a place of honesty.
Yes.
man.
Honestly, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, I just smoked the blunt before I came.
Yeah, and you got psychiatrists recommending marijuana in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think
Psychiatrist?
it's a form of. Wait a minute, they're not finna write you a prescription
I know.
for a 7. You know what I'm saying? But I do know there are healing properties. You know what I'm saying? The CBD, I feel like.
Oh, I love it.
You know, they definitely have healing properties that can help you kind of sort through other things. You only looking for THC though.
Oh, no,
You're a THC kind of guy.
CBD's in
CBD
breast milk.
too, though. Huh?
CBD's in breast milk.
CBD's in breast milk?
Yeah, CBD's in breast milk.
How you know? You researched it?
Yeah.
Wow.
CBD's a natural thing in breast milk.
And female breast milk. Cause we just found.
What you mean female breast milk, man?
Beyonce's dad just found out he got, peace and blessings to him, but we just found out that Beyonce pops has breast cancer.
What the hell they got to do with milk?
I'm trying to say, make sure it's women breast with the CBD.
Have you ever seen a man breastfeeding?
Me neither, but they just said a man has breast cancer.
So if a man have breast cancer, you have a breast. It's just, you know what I'm saying?
We have a chest.
But it's still defined as a breast.
I'm just saying, I don't know.
You have a breastplate.
CBD, I just want to know who got it. That's all.
What are you talking
Male
about?
or female breast milk?
The epitome of ignorance is being displayed by Brother Five Mics. Shout out to the Brooklyn public school system who have produced such a marvel mind. Please, say it again.
Five just didn't know. That Matthew Knowles story did fuck me up though, cause I never heard that before. I was like, damn, a man can get breast cancer.
I didn't even know I didn't even know we had breasts.
Yeah.
I thought we had something else.
A breast is, listen.
You see, the fat.
You thinking about a titty. You see what I'm saying? Now, titty is different.
Fat niggas got titties though.
Yeah, but breasts is, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not gender specific.
I ain't even read that story though, because I read something like that. I'm a hypochondriac. I'll start thinking that shit can happen to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying? Is
saying?
he the first man? Is this a known thing?
That's the first story I heard about it. I've never heard a man say they had breast cancer.
They didn't want to tell nobody.
Well, I mean, it ain't nothing to be ashamed of. Cancer is cancer. I don't give a fuck where
Word
you catch
up.
it.
That's a fact.
Cancer is cancer. That shit sucks wherever you catch it. You can have toe cancer. That shit gonna be fucked up.
That shit is everywhere. And
You dig what I'm
somebody
saying?
said that to me earlier because he was like, "Oh, such and such gives you." Talk about deodorant. Deodorant gives you cancer. I'm like, what don't give you cancer
I
nowadays?
heard that. I mean, for real though, all impurities. Yeah.
So what are we supposed to
Baby
do?
powder. Johnson & Johnson is definitely, they've settled cases for baby powder.
Giving cancer? Well, how much baby powder do you have to put on to get cancer?
Shit, a lifetime worth.
Yes, and it's the food.
Yeah.
Oh, we know it's the
fucking
food.
us up.
Carcinogens as well. You have foreign chemicals that are put into the body and the effect those foreign chemicals have on the body. If they have a great effect, it's called higher levels of carcinogens. Carcinogens is the kind of chemicals that can produce or cause cancer.
Wow. So just for the listeners, what can they put on other than deodorant to stay fresh out here?
Nothing. You got to wear deodorant.
You gotta
all
stay-
these motherfuckers be trying to go natural, putting lemon juice under their arms and all that shit.
lemon
That
juice.
shit ain't working for
Whoa.
That shit ain't sexy.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
lemon
telling you
juice.
right
Young
now, that
ladies,
shit
I'm
ain't
talking about
working.
there's a lot of young ladies out there. I know y'all, listen. A long-lived life is not going to be well enjoyed if you stank the whole time. Let me just be honest with you. You gonna
That
stink.
musty shit ain't working, man.
Man.
Musty.
Quality of life will be kind of it's gonna be disturbed. So how can we kind of remove the stigma of mental health within our community?
Everybody keep telling their stories. People ask me that all the time. How you eradicate the stigma of mental health? Tell your story. Like we be so afraid to talk about things that we going through, or how we feel, or the effects of certain things on us. Like a lot of shit ain't normal. It ain't normal to be getting guns pulled on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't normal to be sitting in a jail cell and then be in fucking solitary confinement for 3 months at a time. You know what I'm saying? Like think about the mind state we had to be in to even do some of the shit that we used to do back in the day.
We was abused first, and then we just
hurt
stayed in
people.
that
Hurt
brainwash.
people.
Yeah.
We stayed
Hurt
in that-
people. Hurt
stayed there.
people.
Man, my mentor, Ambassador Young, he said, man, the condition of the household at least in the civil rights era or ever since, you know what I'm saying, even before then, back in Jim Crow day. So he's like, it's really a trickle-down effect. You know, the man is the head of the household. Mm-hmm. But when the man leaves the house, he has to deal with the conditions of the world, you know. So he treated like he ain't shit out in the world. So he takes that energy, that trauma, he come back and he treat the wife like she ain't shit. And then she takes that trauma and she treats the kid like he ain't shit. Then the kid kicked the dog and the dog chased the cat and the cat chased the mouse, so on and so forth. Yeah. And it really just disturbs the ecosystem.
And that's the beauty of therapy, because I feel like we all dealing with so much trauma. We got to get to the root of that trauma, because if we don't get to the root of that trauma, we're just going to be a bunch of hurt people in pain, redistributing that pain, the motherfuckers that usually look just like us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Those are the people who I think, you know, we go to first. We always lash out at the people who are closest to us or most familiar, or that we're most familiar with.
That's why I hate that. I hate when they talk about black on black crime. You know what I'm saying?
Black on black crime is a fictitious construct.
Yeah, I'm hearing it's a myth.
There is no such thing as black on black crime. People kill or commit crimes around the people that they live around.
Absolutely.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? Where is the white on white crime?
It's definitely white on white crime.
But I'm just saying, as many
mass
shootings as we've had, as many, you know, crazy, hateful white boy we got out here doing crazy, hateful shit. There is no statistic on white crime. Why is it that there's only a statistic of black on black crime? I tell you why. Because it perpetuates that theory that we need to be policed, and it
Absolutely.
It contributes to mass incarceration.
Well, yeah, because we take that away, then people smarten up a little bit.
Absolutely. I think that the black on black crime is the system, it operates on fear.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So you have to do something, create fear, and from that fear,
you can justify
all the shit that you know you ain't supposed to do. For instance, like the Patriot Act. You know what I'm saying? After 9/11, you know, that's why they could tap your phone without having.
We had to get the 9/11 done first, so we could have the procedures.
Yeah. So after that, they're like, hey, you know, you see what they coming over here doing? They flying planes in our building.
Yeah,
absolutely. So when they put all those police in our neighborhood and they hit us with those harsh sentences for whether it's the 94 crime bill, the 88 crack laws, they can justify that shit based off this is where all the trouble is at. This is where all the problems is at. You seen Joe Biden stand on the Senate floor and say that verbatim. He was like, I don't care about the conditions that cause these predators to become predators. We need to fix this shit now, because if we don't, they're going to end up killing our moms and our fathers and our brothers and our sisters.
Is Joe Biden good?
Nah, it's tough.
I got questions.
I think he's a good guy with bad shit on him.
Man,
what? He got some bad shit on him.
I say it all the time. Joe Biden has done worse things to black people than Donald Trump ever has.
For real?
Hell yeah, man. The 88 crack laws.
Educate me.
He passed the 88.
He did the 88 crack laws with Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond was a motherfucking racial segregationist from South Carolina.
Who was he down with? Was he down?
He was
Barack's vice president.
Barack's vice president.
Did the 88 crack laws. Think about it. 88 crack laws. Everybody know crack was in the black community more than anywhere.
Because they put it there.
They dropped it off.
So 88 crack laws that gave you more time for crack than it did powder cocaine, that was systemically done because they knew who was running around with the 20s of rocks in their pockets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then you fast forward 6 years later, the 94 crime bill that he called the Biden bill.
Now what's the 94 crime?
The 94 crime bill was what they were so mad about Hillary over, and Hillary wasn't even in the administration when that shit went down. You know what I'm saying? She was just the first lady. She was just Bill Clinton's old lady. But the 94 crime bill basically is what they say started mass incarceration. You know what I'm saying? It just gave out all of these harsh sentences to black people.
What year was that?
94. Yeah.
My dad did 29 years. And he came home, like in the middle of that, he came home one time and about 14 years then he came home. And he just went right back in. But his whole generation's in jail.
And listen, we all make mistakes, but he will not even say that it was a mistake. You ask him now, he'll say the 94 crime bill didn't cause mass incarceration.
That's a big mistake.
So tell me, man, 2020 is a big year. And, okay, we have, our options are, far and few in between. For me, it's really anyone but Trump 2020. That's how I feel. Although he might not even make it that far.
Yeah, the way it's looking now, I don't know.
But
yeah.
they impeach him on the last week.
What you mean on the last week? For
like
real, I mean, the
office,
impeachment is going to help because then that'll take him out the history books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you get knocked out of history when you get
yeah.
I mean,
like,
you got
we still fuck with Clinton.
You got a stain on your name.
But Clinton wasn't necessarily impeached. Like, I'm talking. What about Nixon?
He got impeached?
Yeah.
Clinton got impeached, but he didn't get removed.
Okay.
Yeah, and Nixon got impeached, but he didn't get removed. Nixon actually quit before he even went through his trial hearing. Clinton went through with the trial, but they found him, I guess, not guilty.
But Nixon,
it was no verdict.
But Nixon his pictures ain't up in no post offices or nothing like that. You know what I mean?
Nixon is a loser. Just like like Clinton ain't really looked at as a loser. Nixon and Nixon quit. So that's an admission of guilt right there. Like
Nixon
I'm not even about to go through that shit.
Stuff, though.
Like what?
Like the UFOs.
What do you mean? Come on, man.
Isn't Nixon the one that said he seen the UFO?
On this.
Huh?
Nixon said he seen the UFO. Who was that?
I do remember. I do remember
Nixon out there.
I don't know if he said he saw him.
1942. We drink a little bit. I'm saying.
To your Google, man. To your Google.
They said he did a deal. They said I read something like that. He did a deal with extraterrestrials or some shit.
How do you do a deal with?
It was almost like a fly zone type of thing.
What year he was
almost. I don't know if this is true.
He kind of leased them some airspace.
There you go. Like y'all don't come here. Y'all don't come there. Or if y'all do, take a couple of. Cows or whatever, some human abductions, just bring them back type shit. I remember reading something like that. I'm not going to sit there and say I read that in a reliable source. I just remember reading that. They gave Bill Clinton a bad deal, though. And the reason I say I'm going to tell you why. Bill Clinton could have got away with that in this era. Because listen, who is going to tell the truth about cheating on their wife?
Yeah.
What man?
It's the truth.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, shit.
Black men don't cheat.
Black men don't cheat. Bill Clinton is white. Regardless of what they say of him being the first black president, he was a white man. But I'm saying, you get caught cheating, what you expect the man to do?
Yeah, I'm caught.
And if he do tell the truth, he gonna tell the truth between him and his old lady.
And his wife. They ain't finna come on TV.
No.
Be on TV.
And I looked it up. Nixon definitely made it to where
you ain't even pulled your phone out,
I
Five.
looked it up. He definitely.
Looked it up what?
I did it slick. You know what I mean? I did it smooth.
Yeah, sure.
Right here.
You got a pick for 2020? You got somebody you looking at?
Man, no. I don't know. I'm waiting on it to shake out a little bit.
What about Bernie? Is Bernie good?
Bernie, I like his stance, but he's in the hospital.
Yeah, that don't look good. It don't look good when everybody. It don't look good when everybody's saying you too old, and then you in the hospital today getting
I ain't gonna lie.
stems in your heart.
God bless Bernie and his family, but I definitely said 2 months ago that Bernie Sanders is getting kind of old.
Kind of old. He's 78 years
old. He's the same age as Donald Trump.
Why our president is so old?
What you mean?
That's old as hell. I mean, 70-something years old.
That is old to be president.
70-something to run our country?
Nah, I agree. I'm not gonna lie.
You can't even damn near drive at that age.
I don't believe in ageism, but I kind of feel Five on that. Just because of the duties of the presidency, man.
Like, he might go see now. Push the button.
I think you should have a certain physical,
trip out on everybody.
like there should be some physical capacity to the president. You're the leader of the free world.
Absolutely,
so
man.
If motherfucking Putin come over here and knock on the White House door and say he want to challenge you to a fight,
man,
absolutely.
I mean, you got to.
But Trump will fight him. I will say that Trump will fight him.
Nah.
That's his man?
Nah, he ain't finna fight.
And Trump 76 is damn
He ain't
self.
supposed to fight.
Yeah, expeditiously. We don't give Trump no props.
He ain't supposed to fight.
Trump don't deserve no
but
props.
I'm just saying, you want to think like, for instance, Barack. You're like, you can see
Barack can fight.
He can protect.
I can tell by the way
himself.
Barack played basketball that he would fight.
Barack and Michelle look like they can fight.
Michelle definitely can fight.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like they look like a nice, healthy couple.
Absolutely.
And look how old Barack looked after those 8 years.
They fucked him up.
So imagine Bernie in the White House, man.
A lot of stress, man.
Shit, Trump done aged them like motherfuckers.
I don't know why anybody would want to do it. I don't know.
Be the president?
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would want to do it.
Don't,
It's just really like a big stroke of the ego. That's really all it is.
You don't have no
You
privacy.
don't want somebody to kiss your ass all day.
You don't have no privacy.
I don't think there's nothing wrong being the president if you really got power. I'm not sure that they really got power. You know what I'm saying? Like those are
They're not
a
like
lot of them say they puppets. You know,
that's what they say.
I believe that.
there's somebody controlling those
So who's
strings.
behind
that.
them? Who's back there?
Them people Alex
UFOs?
Jones be talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The people who was at Bahamian Grove.
Whoa!
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, money runs the world. Period.
Correct.
Whoever has the most money buys the best weapons.
Absolutely.
And, so on and so forth. So money runs the world. And the central banking system is, that's the source of the most wealth in the world. So therefore, the central banking system would have a little more say-so over what is done in any country than the president.
Yeah, the president ain't nobody, man.
Nah, I wouldn't go say that.
Just keep it real. The president
I mean, listen, yeah, Trump has shown me that presidents got more power than I thought. I'm
It's
not
Trump
even
with
gonna lie.
the power.
I mean, listen, he's done things in the presidency that I didn't think was possible.
Man, this shit is...
I didn't know. He's shown me that presidents got a lot more power than I thought they did.
Yeah,
This shit is ridiculous. I mean, shout out to Robert De Niro. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he went hard, right?
Yeah.
Old Bobby D, man.
Yeah.
Getting on CNN and telling it like it is. You dig? One time, see, that's the thing. Once you get up in age, man, you don't give a fuck about what you say and who you offend, man.
And that's exactly how Trump
Man,
feels.
Fuck him. I'm sorry. Fuck him. I'm sorry, but fuck him.
But that's the problem.
That was legendary, actually.
That's actually the problem with the Democratic Party. They don't realize the language of politics is dead.
Right.
So they still getting on TV, talking all proper.
They're still trying to be PC.
Yeah, they have their talking points. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody
Meanwhile,
cares about that.
Robert De Niro, Trump, they just letting it fly.
Bullshit.
You remember that movie Bulwark
Yeah.
with Warren Beatty?
I ain't see that.
That's how one of these liberals got to be. They got to be like Bulwark. Don Cheadle was in that too. Motherfucking Bulwark was running for president. He fell in love with Halle Berry. And he started going to the hood with Halle Berry. And he started listening to Don Cheadle and the gang members talk. Because, you know how brothers are in the street. We articulate and we know what's going on in our community.
Yeah.
And he started taking that information in and getting on them fucking debate stages and spitting that shit. And the nation fell in love with him. And then they killed his ass.
I mean,
They smoked Bulwark at the end of the movie. They smoked him at the end of the movie.
man, we in this past week have seen quite the turn of events.
Okay.
So the impeachment inquiry, it derives from an alleged conversation between Agent Orange and which prime minister?
Ukrainian president.
Which it is said that the sitting president suggested that the Ukrainian president should look into Joe Biden's son's business in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about that is that's already unlawful to use your power to influence another president to investigate
potential political opposition.
Yeah. So, and not to mention, on the same call is to talk about why the funds of the aid for the Ukraine ain't made it yet.
Yeah, he held that. He held on to that.
So basically, he held the funds, and so basically,
until
United
he got
States,
what he wanted.
Right, the United States have an agreement with the Ukraine where they give them aid, and they send them money. They get a care package, and when it was time for the care package didn't make it.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? And so the Ukrainian president, of course, is like, yo, what's going on, guys? And Trump was like, yeah, well, I want to talk to you about this thing.
Yeah, I need a favor.
I want you to do a favor.
Oh, that's fucked up. He on some mob shit.
I want you to do
some old school
a
mob shit
favor
right
for
Teflon
me.
That's fucked up.
I mean, man, I honestly feel like, and then after the inquiry for the impeachment, the article of impeachment, he took to Twitter and, in so many words, threatened a civil war.
What?
Today, this morning,
What'd he say?
This morning he said this is a coup
Yeah.
happening in America. He said the
Yeah.
Democratic Party is trying to take away your rights to everything. That right there, that's war talk right there. You riling up your troops, all them motherfucking bikers.
Go against who though? Us fellow Americans?
Fair and decent people.
Yes. See, he's a fascist, and this is textbook fascism. You know what I'm saying?
Supremacists against fair and
I'm gonna tell
decent
you, like,
people.
supremacists gonna lose these days.
I mean,
I don't know, bro.
I don't know
what's
too many tough supremacists running around here. You see them?
Shit.
I don't see it.
What? Absolutely.
I see supremacists on the news, Fox 5. I don't see them roaming the areas talking about y'all niggas get up out of here.
Them white biker gangs ain't bullshitting.
Now the biker gangs is
Hey, five.
All biker gangs is serious.
The police ain't bullshitting.
Yeah.
What you do?
That's the biggest gang in
Come
America.
on, bro.
First and foremost, never underestimate anybody. Everybody, man, a baby will knock your head off.
Word.
You dig what I'm saying?
As long as he can pull the triggers.
I
for real.
just want people to know, I'm not scared of no white supremacy. I'm not trying to be funny about it, but like, there's people who see the KKK or see shit authority and just back down.
No, I'm not scared of white supremacy.
You know what I'm saying? I want that to be known, like, that's played out. Nobody's worried about.
Well, that's the Bible. The Bible made us fear that. Ephesians 6:5. Ephesians 6:5.
Fear is exclusive to God.
Yes,
you know what
exactly.
I'm saying?
But in the Bible, it said slaves should fear their earthly masters.
Yeah,
well, we know that was
that's why.
them.
You know, some lines
That's why I
got a little
can't fuck
edited
with the
King
Bible
James.
all the way.
Yeah.
Because now, don't get me wrong. I believe in God.
Me
I
too.
know God is real. Religion is bullshit.
I agree totally.
In the Bible, there are so many inconsistencies, and that's the reason why. And I believe Jesus. I believe he walked the earth. I believe he was a great man.
Yeah, like Martin Luther King Jr. or Elijah Muhammad.
I mean,
Malcolm
He's
X.
a little more better than
He's
that.
better than that. I think he's better than that. I even go with the man with. I won't go without sin. The man with the least sin. That's what I would go.
We
with.
don't know what him and Mary Magdalene was doing.
I don't even.
And a man that can turn water into wine want to party. Okay, that I know.
I will say this.
The myth of Jesus, though, the story points have been duplicated throughout in different civilizations.
Yes.
In 1400s, 1500s, like there are different, I guess, people who were born, they say, on December 25th, who were born Immaculate Conception to a virgin, who died on the cross and was resurrected on the third day. All of the different points of Jesus' stories they've been also associated with other people in history.
I agree with that, but I'm gonna tell you this about Jesus. He's the most famous one.
What do you mean
Famous
most famous?
Who
gives a damn about fame?
No, I'm just saying.
Talking about
famous what,
We're
Bob?
talking about the
Michael
Messiah.
Jordan?
We're
Like, what
talking
you
about the
about?
Messiah.
I'm going with the most popular Messiah. That's what I'm trying to say.
The
If I
most
dig up somebody
popular
from
Messiah.
How many messiahs do you know, Five?
Jesus has more followers on Instagram.
I'm just saying.
Man,
I'm just saying.
get the
And
hell
God
outta here,
don't like
man.
God don't like somebody who want to be so smart and go back to the 1300 billion. He don't. It say that in the Bible. Like, don't be that guy.
The wildest thing
know
about
what I'm
Jesus
saying?
to me is I don't know how Jesus became God over God. Like
See, that's the
I
thing, because
don't understand
Wait
that.
a minute now. This is the thing. Because another inconsistency in the Bible, it says, our God is a jealous God.
That's right.
You can't serve two masters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if God is a jealous God, but Christianity is say the only way to God is through Jesus.
Yes.
See, that's a contradiction. I don't get it. You serving two
Yeah.
masters.
Are people saying Jesus is God? Like
They're confused.
I thought God was the
They're
Father,
confused.
Jesus was the Son.
If you're a scumbag, you can use and pray in Jesus' name. You see what I'm trying to say?
What does that mean?
I never
pray in
understood
Jesus'
that.
That
name?
means
How
that
do
when
you
you
pray
go-
in Jesus' name?
Because I sinned, or whatever the case may be, I'm going to God. I'm not worthy. So therefore, before I pray, hey, Father God, I'm asking you this in Jesus' name.
Why can't I go right to
understand it, but
God?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. How do you pray in Jesus' name if you are serving God?
Jesus is his son.
The Son. The Son.
I don't hold
When
on.
you want to
Let's
call,
go.
listen.
Don't-
When
we
you
talking about-
when you want to talk,
I'm a God body. I don't want to start this.
But
like,
just wait
for
a minute, man. You asking questions, so you gonna have to listen to the answers. Listen,
Oh, shit.
you can't step on my shoe and then say, "Hey, Damani,
Exactly.
tell your dad I'm sorry."
exactly. You got to
No,
tell
but
Tip
my
you're
dad.
sorry.
But guess what you can say? Hey, Damani, I fucked up. Can you talk to your dad for me?
All right, you got a point, Five. That's a good point.
You got a better relationship with him than me. Holla at him, see if you clean the slate. I'll be back tomorrow morning.
That's a good point.
Hey, man,
that is a good point.
I go for that.
But you still not putting Damani on the same level as
Hell no.
his
He's
father.
not. He's not.
But that's what they do with Jesus.
That's a mistake.
Yes, I agree.
Because of the,
I
propaganda.
mean, it's real. It's propaganda. To be honest with you, it's propaganda. Also, the Bible, it says that God's word is everlasting.
Yes.
God's word is everlasting. So if God's word is everlasting, then that means there's no ability, there's no opportunity to change any of these words.
Absolutely not.
In this Bible.
And that's the problem.
Okay, well, you do know that the Bible has been rewritten more times than
Yes, sir.
any other book.
Yes, sir.
Ever.
You got
And
Old
this is
Testament,
why-
New Testament, the
this is why
LeBron
you're
James
supposed to
version.
assess-
The LeBron James version.
That's funny. This is why you're supposed to figure it out yourself. Like, that's why God gives you your time to figure it out. Now, if you get caught up in the inconsistencies, that's on you. But there's more good than bad.
But that's when I speak to preachers and I say this, man. You know what I'm saying? I have a very hard time. I have a very hard time. I mean, when they're subscribing to a policy, I believe a lot of preachers are
scamming.
very good. Well, wait a minute. I think a lot of them are good people. I think they really, really, really do believe.
They've been tricked.
They really do believe. They're just like, shit, some lawyers really believe in the legal system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Now, some police really believe in good police work. You dig what I'm saying? However, you do know that as history has shown us,
ain't too much good police work going
you
on.
dig what I'm saying?
The biggest problem.
Looking for local drug
The
dealers.
biggest problem I got with Christianity, man, as long as you got black people worshiping a white Jesus, you will never, ever truly rebel against your oppressors because when you see them, you see God.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
that's what I see today. You look at that case today, the whole Amber Geiger situation, and you got one policewoman rubbing her hair. You got the judge getting off the bench to hug her. You got the brother saying, "I don't want you to go to jail."
What is that? I never seen that in my life.
That is what happens when you worship white Jesus. Because
he said, "I want you to know Jesus."
Stockholm Syndrome.
Yes, you can't stand to see a white woman uncomfortable, a white person uncomfortable.
You know what Stockholm Syndrome is?
No.
Stockholm Syndrome is when you have been held captive or kidnapped, and the people who have kidnapped you have, kind of brainwashed you to where you
ready to
support them.
Yeah, I'm telling y'all, we can take the cuffs off.
Yeah. So I think a lot of black people have Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, we so forgiving when it comes to white folks.
No, but I will say this.
But boy, we cancel each other in a heartbeat.
One of the best churches I ever went to in my life was the shout out to Pastor Frank, a Baptist church. It was a white church. I'm not gonna lie, but he was strictly to keeping it real. He was in there. No, ain't no white Jesus. Yeah, he was.
That's in Chicago.
No,
that ain't Chicago.
Okay. I ain't gonna lie, but that's the only white church I've went to and seen that in my whole life. But there was one. I don't go to no black churches.
I mean,
once the play come around the music, I'm good. I was in a church.
I
put
go
the Matrix
if
on
I
one day. I said, I'm out of here.
I see church like a show.
It's
like a show.
You go to
it's
be
like
entertained.
A play.
What city
if
has
I
the worst
want to
churches?
go,
What city has the worst churches?
I don't know,
Atlanta.
man. I'm sure.
Yes.
Man. As you know,
I can tell you who got the best.
Dallas is, big.
You ever been to Potter House?
What's that?
That's Bishop T.D. Jake's church in Dallas.
Never been.
T.D. Jake.
Listen, you would love it.
T.D. Jakes.
Let me tell you something.
When you sit, I like T.D. Jakes.
T.D. Jakes is a beast.
I like T.D.
What
Jakes.
is you guys sound like Christianity.
No,
listen,
he's
wait
a
a minute.
beast,
Wait a minute. Listen, first of all,
T.D.
I
Jakes.
am not in any way trying to oppose Christianity any more than any other religion. I think all
of
religions
them. I agree.
are there to control the minds and actions of people.
I agree.
Let me get Catholics. Let's talk about Catholics. Okay, so anytime you have a human being, a man, in position to hear all of the sins and confessions of people within the congregation, they don't know who he is, but he can see them. Okay, first of all, as the Bible should state, Jesus died for human beings to ask for forgiveness and be forgiven for our sins, correct?
Fact. Sacrifice.
Okay, and that sacrifice come when you accept Jesus and you believe he was resurrected on the third day.
Hold up now.
But I'm talking about as the Bible would
As the Bible
state.
says, okay.
Okay, so if that is true, why do I have to go through yet another representative of God? I'm going through yet another representative. So first I
want to talk to your boss.
I want to, you know what I'm saying? Can I speak to your manager, sir? You know what I'm saying? So you got this person who you can't see, but he can see you. You got to tell him all your business, and he tell you some futile activity for you to do to be forgiven. 3 Hail Marys and, you know.
Yeah.
You know why that was started, though, right? You know why they have those booths and shit.
But I think that it's because the preachers want to use the confessions against the congregation.
That's how it started.
So if I'm in the confession booth and I
for.
say, "Man, I cheated on my wife, and I'm so sorry," da, 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 and he say, "Oh, you did."
Yep.
So then he pull up on your wife at communion. You know your husband said he
Yes.
cheated on you, so why don't you meet me in the? You niggas,
Absolutely.
And you're hoping that guy is
Right.
the mayor, the whoever who runs the city. Because honestly, when we ask who runs things, the church. That's who's running
Man, the
shit.
church.
In most communities,
you know why they go to the church? Because the church, they know that the church had control of the minds of the people, of the masses. If you can go to any leader of a church, and he has a congregation of hundreds to thousands. So if I'm a politician, I'm gonna go to this church because I know if I get him,
It's over.
I get all these people.
I got all these people.
And they come in the congregation. Don't they just go so easy?
And that's why
Whatever he says up there, I'm with him.
That's why you seeing these pastors and preachers be using the word to get pussy.
Man,
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Using
what-
the word to
I mean,
get head.
Church is where you get pussy. Everybody knows that if you've been going to church.
I ain't never went to church.
All right, well, when I was young, I used to go to
never got no
church.
pussy in
and
church.
The
Wow.
girls at church, you be in the sermon, the girls at church are the freakiest ever. Like,
Yeah, but you ain't fuck them in the church.
Nah,
Five.
you fuck them
Man,
after
what's up,
church,
man?
and you fill them up in church.
Yeah.
You what?
You fill them up in church. Why they singing with doing all the partying?
Yeah, you bugging.
Get your feels on. Let them do what it is.
Yo, you bugging.
That's why when I take care of you, sit right
Yo,
here.
you
Ain't no
bugging.
going
You know what's so- you know
That's like slightly rapey.
No, it's
That is,
not.
bro.
saying?
I'm
She
be
in
honest.
You
there-
guys did. Stop it.
She in there
that's some Me Too
praising
shit.
and you in here palming.
No, I'm trying to tell you, the girls at church are more
She
aggressive.
praying and you praying.
These girls are... I'm just saying, people at church are a little, what's the word when you don't really go nowhere and kind of boxed in? Isolated. There's a lot of
There you go.
isolation going on in church, a lot of lusting going on too. You know, if you're in church, you got a girlfriend or something, you can't kiss your girlfriend 14, your mom ain't having that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get married.
But those be the ones. I see what you're
Those
saying.
be the ones ready to go.
Yeah.
You gotta watch
You know
that
the
church.
Bible says you can't find God in any man-made temple. But then they send us to church every Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was deep.
That's not deep. It's in the Bible.
Nah, but I'm saying, but look
I
though,
know.
right? I've never seen where it say Jesus, David, Moses, where they spoke to God and it say it happened in a church.
Nah.
It's always in the wilderness, at the
Absolutely.
burning bush.
'Cause that's all earth- that's
it's
God's
always
turf.
outside.
Yeah, the earth is God's turf.
You dig what
He
I'm
created
saying?
all of this.
It's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
God ain't gonna say, meet me in the building right there.
No, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. That is the Christianity. The impact on Christianity in the black community, man, is the reason that you see, like in Charleston, South Carolina, when you see like the church shooting that happened there, when the 9 people got shot in Emmanuel AME, or even the thing with Amber Geiger. That forgiveness they talk about, that comes directly from Christianity. You ever watch Birth of a Nation? The story about Nat Turner,
course, yeah,
and
I've
it
seen
breaks
that.
it down exactly how they used to use religion to control us, used to use religion to keep
Absolutely.
us in line, and that's
Just that scripture that you quoted earlier. Respect your masters
Yeah.
and fear them.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
They slipped that in there. Corinthians, whatever they slipped that.
Yeah, that's-
It was Ephesians. I think it's Ephesians 6:5.
that
If
is
I'm not
straight
mistaken.
slavery shit.
Yeah, I mean, but when you have that kind of talk, it's hard. My God ain't gonna tell me no shit like that.
Hell no.
My God ain't finna tell me that.
Like when I saw that judge get off the stand and hug her.
That fucked
When
up
you ever
the
seen
whole
a
game.
judge hug somebody they sentenced? A murderer.
Never.
Never.
Like, that shit is crazy.
That's unprecedented.
Come on, man.
She should not be. Are you allowed to do that?
I didn't know. I thought that when the judge do the sentence, they gotta go on about their business, go to
they
their
supposed to do
chambers.
that whole thing. And why she was black?
Well, we also saw, at least
That
this
was
is
fucking crazy.
allegedly, she was supported by the same police department that the young lady who she sentenced worked for. You know, because judges are elected officials. So in her last election, she was supported by the police department that the lady worked for, who she sentenced. Now, speaking of this, the lady we're talking about is Amber Geiger. She gets 10 years. For a murder sentence
Lord have mercy.
for fatally shooting Botham Jean.
For no reason.
Yes, this former Dallas police officer, she killed the brother Botham Jean in his apartment last year. She headed to prison to begin a 10-year sentence. Now, my uncle got 10 years for a brick.
Damn.
That's not that long.
One brick.
And she get 10 for a body.
And they say she probably get out at 5.
She probably gonna get out in less than that.
How?
Because if you see that show that they put on in the courtroom today with the judge hugging her and the brother saying, I don't want her to go to jail.
And pushing that
Probably-
paperwork.
Word, she probably do like 2.
Why did the brother say that?
Man, I have
That's a hating ass brother,
Christianity.
man. That's a hating ass brother. If that was my brother, yo, that's a hate. If I was his uncle, somebody need to check him.
Nah, for
You heard
real.
what he said? My family doesn't know I'm about to say this.
Man, that shit was,
We too
But
quick to
it
forgive.
was disturbing. That wasn't even forgiving. That's more like you just turned a blind eye. That wasn't even like, that's not, I don't think that's like genuine
I want to do more research on the brother that died.
Somebody told me forgiveness is when you truly forgive is when you realize that you're not going that you can't do anything to the person that harmed you. Like when somebody does something to you, and you have the means and the resources and the ability
And you just let them
to
slide.
do something to them, but you say, you know what, I forgive them. You know what I mean? They say people that forgive usually can't do anything to the person that did something to them. So that's why they forgive, because they have nothing else to do.
I've seen that though on the street. I've seen people be tough, get their ass beat. You know what I'm saying? And then you be like, yo, you ready to go put some work in? Like, nah, they got it.
Put some work
He
in.
got it. He got it. He got it.
Like, oh,
I don't want no
you
problem.
really forgive him? All right, cool. Get out the streets, man.
Man.
So when I see that brother say that on that stand today, it's like he know he ain't gonna do nothing to her.
Yeah.
What can he do? What
And
can he
then
get done?
I think
You can look at him and tell.
I believe there was some visits to the family to kind of
From who?
coerce
From the
them.
gang, the police gang?
The
Yes.
police department. son.
Yes, they still got to live there.
Duh.
She a cop, 5,
You dig what I'm saying? And she got the complexion for the connection.
and protection.
You dig?
I miss the good old days, man.
What was
What
the good old days? 5?
days?
There was never no
When?
good old
What
days.
Good old days.
Forgive me, but when the cops used to do stuff, there used to be consequences.
I don't
There used to be
remember
a time
those days.
period if a police officer was in the hood doing some shit. He
You
had
talking
to watch
about
his
before
back.
integration? You talking
I'm
about
talking about the 90s. I remember the 90s.
90s.
In the 97, 96, when I walked the streets of Brooklyn, if a police officer, I could have been 15, 2 police officers walking up the block, if I get them niggas the wrong note, like, fuck out of here. Them niggas will turn around and be like, not this street, and keep it moving. They're not calling for backup or what you say? None of that shit. It's like, nigga, what? Don't make me make 100 niggas come out.
So
You know what I mean? It's not like that
so
no
you
more.
saying they not pussy no
Man.
more?
They have no respect for nothing.
Yeah, that's what he said. They're not pussy no
Yeah,
more.
it
That
sounded to
is-
me like you were saying
so
they was
you
pussy
bullied
back
the
then.
police to the point where now
The-
they've over-militarized
It's your fault.
themselves.
It's not our fault.
That what you just said.
We needed to have that in the hood. This is our hood.
Nah.
Our neighborhood. You know
Well,
what I mean?
it ain't our neighborhood.
Nope, not if you
It
don't
used
own
to
Not
it.
be.
our,
It
no,
used
it's
to
not.
be.
What ownership?
Exactly.
What do we own within this neighborhood?
Back in the days, people
No,
owned stuff.
no,
There used to be the candy
no.
lady on the block. That she
Yeah,
was black
those are
and-
renters. Those are tenants.
Well, we just lost control. Like the police should not be governing the hood. You know what
I like the days of the Black Panthers when the Black Panthers
Yeah.
used to police the police.
That's fire.
The shit Five was talking about just now, I don't know what he's talking about.
I'm
But
talking for the street level.
the Black Panthers were street dudes.
Nah, the Black Panthers were not
100%.
street dudes.
You
like that.
crazy.
Yeah, what are you talking
What?
about,
Black
son?
Panthers sold drugs?
Man, zip your mom's the word.
I thought the Black
Mom's the
Panthers were
word.
good people, man.
I never said.
No, shit.
Shit.
Black Panthers was definitely street
I
dudes.
never said.
Huey
I didn't
P.
know
was
that.
definitely-
Oh,
yeah.
Huey P. Yeah, he was.
man.
Okay.
And Bobby Seale.
Bobby Seale, absolutely.
You know what
yeah,
I'm
the
saying?
NOI and all them was reform street
Asada
dudes.
gangsters.
Shakur.
Yeah. You talking about
Matulu Shakur.
absolutely. Like you ain't talking about no suckers.
Yeah.
I didn't know they was out there like that.
Listen, you had to be out there like that, and you had to have the heart
There's
to be out there
positive
policing the
gangsters.
police. You know what I'm saying? You out there with your guns, the police out there with their guns. You just making sure shit goes smooth.
That was a
You
good
dig what I'm
time.
saying?
man.
That was a good time. That
I
was a
mean,
good time.
That was great because they actually they attended to the needs within the community,
Yes.
and they knew the needs of the community because they were members of the community.
Absolutely. 100%.
For instance, I think one of the first things they did was there was this intersection where kids had a crosswalk, okay, and kids had to cross the street to go to school, and there was no stop sign, no red light, and cars would come flying down there, and a kid got hit and died.
Whoa.
So the Black Panther would stand out there with their pistols and make sure that the cars would stop so the kid could cross back and forth to go to school, and made the city, or I mean, I guess encouraged or kind of
Make something happen.
Yeah, they put up a stop sign or a red light, something like that. But so that was like those are the type of things that the Black Panthers were actually
Go shout out to the Black
present
Panthers,
to
man.
do.
Didn't Huey P fuck up though? He fucked up.
What you mean?
As
Everybody
far as
fuck up. You fucked up.
Oh, I'm good.
Nah, man, you done fucked up.
I don't listen to
Oh,
nothing.
a long time ago. Yeah, I'm good.
I don't listen to nothing they say about any of our black leaders. Every single one of our black leaders, they've tried to defame their name in some way, shape, or form. Every single one.
There was a movie that just came out.
Everybody historically, man, fuck the movies. Listen, everybody historically, no matter what color you are, everybody got dirt. Everybody done did
Absolutely.
bullshit. Everybody done fallen short of the glory. So why is it that it's so publicized when we do it? You know what I mean?
They want to defame our leaders' names because they don't want us to follow our leaders.
This is
You
true.
know what I'm saying? If I put dirt on Malcolm X's name, Martin Luther King Jr.'s name, Huey P. Newton, Marcus
agree.
Garvey, whoever it was,
Right.
it makes you be like, man, I'm not even going to study on that person. Because that
Right.
person is
Especially
foul.
Malcolm X, and he's a good person studying, but they throw dirt on him every few
my
years.
God.
Every time you turn the corner, there's a new Malcolm X room. I'm like, damn, man, fuck it, man.
And they do things on purpose. I remember when they tried to say Malcolm X was gay.
Yeah, I don't believe
Man,
that
I've
at all.
seen that
I don't
article been
believe that
floating
at all.
around
But
for a while.
they know that there's a certain
Stigma, yes.
in the black community. You know what I'm saying? So they think that would discourage
That's why you
people.
need to watch that Harlem, the Godfather Harlem.
I heard that shit is amazing.
Malcolm X is gangster. No, it really is. It really is. Like Malcolm X, and then it shows you Malcolm was really helping Bumpy Johnson, and at the same time, there's a lot going on.
And see, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody like Malcolm, only somebody like Malcolm would understand the need for somebody like Bumpy and would actually get with him
Yeah.
to try to make some change.
We
happen
can't
in
clean up the
community.
whole hood, but we'll clean up most of it. Except for where Bumpy's at. Right?
And I heard he's still telling Bumpy he need to get his shit together.
No,
in
he
the
pressed
process.
him a few times.
Yeah.
He pressed him a few times. He's
I
like,
mean,
whoa.
I think that's that's necessary.
kinda gangster.
I think all of that stuff is necessary, man. You know, with no order, there's chaos.
Yes.
And I think that's the problem, man. We've separated all of our leaders from our communities, and the youngsters run amok. You dig? And when the youngsters run amok, there are no consequences. You know, aside from the legalities, there are no, you know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Ain't no accountability.
Ain't no checks and balances in the hood no more.
Yeah.
It makes it hard to help.
What do you mean?
You go there, try to help out, and everybody running the muck, and then, the leader get no respect. He got beat up, robbed, shot. You like, you know what? Fuck the hood. You know what I mean? Or Nipsey Hussle situation. You out here helping, and somehow the hood, you know what I'm saying?
The only way one could say that is if they don't have a genuine love, respect, or appreciation for themselves. Self-hate is that's what's gonna cause you to turn your back on people that look like you. You know what I mean? Turn your back on people who came from the same places that you came from. Like, for instance, you from Brooklyn, okay? So you go back to Brooklyn and you see motherfuckers who walk in the same street, going to the same school you went to, having the same struggles that you had. And if all you got to say is, man, fuck them folk, then
That's fucked up.
that shows that's really projection. That shows like how you feel about yourself.
No, I agree with that.
You know what I mean? But the answer to the community for us has always been the answer to the problems within our community have always been get rich enough to move out and never look back.
And that's why the community stay fucked up, because ain't nobody putting nothing back into the hood.
But it is a little hard, though. I'm just telling you. It's a little hard when you come on Saturday.
Everything is hard, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's a little
Beating a
hard
murder
in the hood.
case is hard. You gonna give up?
Not me personally. I'm just saying I can see how some people go. Because look, I go back to the hood all the time. But there's definitely time I'm like, I'm not fucking with the hood. And I don't care what the hood says. 'Cause I'm from the hood. I help y'all when you know what I mean? But I'm not here to just cater to you people who don't care because we in the hood.
But you're not saying fuck the whole hood, though. You're just saying fuck some individuals in
I'm
the
keeping
hood.
it real. Sometimes it's fuck the hood.
Nah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I
what
mean,
you're saying is that you don't want to subject yourself to the environment for whatever
Sometimes the environment is not healthy for you to even go help.
Well, you can't go back out there with a gun in your waist 5 and stand on
but
the
you don't
corner
wanna go
like
out
you
there
used
bearing
to.
arms. You don't want to go out there and you're going to help somebody. They say, yo, guess what? We don't fucking want your help. We don't care if you lived over here, what you do. Get the fuck out of here. We happy being broken poor. Get
Yeah,
out.
but what about the people? What about the people?
Well, that's true, too.
What about the people who do appreciate your help, though?
Those are the people that you say come down to the
And that's
community
it.
center. And, you know what I
That's
mean?
it. That's what you focus on. You focus on the next little 5 in the hood.
That is true, though.
You have to go find them, though. Damn near. You know what I mean? You
I
to be
have
there.
heard many times that you cannot help our people if they know they're being helped.
Oh, shit. Niggas don't like that.
You know what I mean?
I don't understand that. You take assistance from everybody else. You
I
take
know
government
it.
assistance.
From-
You know what I'm saying?
It's from us, though.
It's-
It's
you know what I mean?
like pride, ego.
Me out.
You know what I mean? Why has he done so good? He ain't perfect.
We got to swallow our pride and ego and stuff like that.
Agreed.
Because, you know, you get to the hood and, you know, somebody will be saying to you, like, oh, who are you to be helping me? You ain't nobody. I remember you when you was just running around here doing X, Y, and Z. You got to block all that out and say, you know what?
You gotta give him a hug.
That's
keep
it.
going.
That's it. You got to love our people in spite of themselves, man.
See, this is the thing. There's a difference between, see, of course, how we see it as we are doing something for somebody, right? They see it as we're doing something to somebody.
Oh.
Wow, that's
When
bad
what
business.
it should be is we're doing something with.
There you go.
You dig what I'm
There you
saying?
go.
So it has to be a natural progression. So we can gain some kind of equal ground, man, because we've been on this hamster wheel for decades.
Yeah, but that's why I say you got to just silence the noise and just go help, man. Like I do so much stuff in my town. I do book bag giveaways, turkey drives.
Right.
Man,
And
genuine.
Yeah, and I see the appreciation that be on these people's faces,
Yeah.
man. I remember this summer, man, I'm out there and it's pouring rain. I did a fish fry, giving away free fish, free shrimp, fries, all of that. We giving away backpacks from Spray Ground. And I seen this little kid running around with no shoes on.
Damn.
And I'm like, bro, why you ain't got no shoes on? It's raining. He was like, I don't want my shoes to get messed up. That's the only pair of shoes I got.
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
And I'm like, well, damn, you ain't getting no book bag. He's like, nah, all the book bags was out. I'm like, man, where your mom at?
Damn.
Go put something in her pocket, right? Then come to find out, 20, 30 minutes later, they've been living in a hotel. She ain't even tell me that.
Damn.
One of my partners told me that. Like, man, they living out of a hotel right now and X, Y, and Z. But I'm just doing something out the goodness of my heart because I saw the condition
Which is a
of
blessing.
my people.
Right.
So it's just like, yo, we can't ever like turn our back on the hood.
Well, the
man.
hood respect's genuine too. Like even if you come to the hood and they know, like, all right, I don't want to get help, but he's being real. They will give you 20 minutes of time and respect, but it just be a time like, all right, I'm going back upstairs. You know what I'm saying? But they'll give you that respect if they know you're official and being real.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the hood, and I say that because this motherfucker sound like he from the hood. I don't know if he is or not, but a doctor donated sperm 30 years ago.
Lord have mercy.
Now he has at least 17 kids.
What?
Lawsuit.
Oh, that's like that
alleged.
movie.
Oh,
That's
they got
like,
him.
that's like what's that? She's Gotta Have It? No. It was a Spike Lee movie with Anthony Mackie. We had all them kids, man. He did the same thing.
I don't remember.
He was a sperm donor. I think that was like Spike's first movie.
It might be She Gotta Have It.
Wasn't she?
It
Nah, I
might
don't think it was
be.
She Gotta Have It. What was the
Nah.
name of that shit? Let me Google.
Well,
What?
while you Google, I tell
He
you
donated
guys.
sperm.
I tell you guys about this tidbit of news here. When an Oregon medical student, he's now a doctor. His name is Bryce Cleary. When he was asked to donate sperm in 1989, he was promised that only 5 offspring would be born,
Lord have mercy.
all on the other side of the country. The lawsuit alleges a clinic violated the agreement by allowing the birth of at least 17 babies, among other alleged violations.
Well, I mean, where these kids at? They over there?
Man, they're around.
Yes, She Hate Me. That was the name of it.
Damn.
You remember that dude became a sperm donor? Yeah, Kerry Washington was in that shit, Woody Harrelson, and he had all them motherfucking kids.
So what do you do in a case like that? Are you still like eligible, or you still obligated to
Yes.
to pay child support
no,
and
no
shit
child
like
Nah,
that?
you shouldn't be.
Government experiment. I'm good.
And you a sperm donor. You know what I'm saying? I donated my sperm. I gave
You're
what I was supposed to
welcome.
give.
Y'all
Yes,
fucked it up.
that's it. That's it.
But it would hurt me to have 17 kids. I don't know. I don't like. I wonder if that affects them.
But you should have known that when you donated your sperm, 5.
What do you donate sperm for anyway? This is what you donate to have kids?
To help people who can't have kids.
That's what it's for?
Yeah.
I thought it was for research. I thought it was for research. This is what
So you saying you've been spanking your monkey doing all this research all this time. I've been researching
Look at all
all
this
this
research
time.
on the carpet.
No new discoveries.
Wow, damn.
Nothing
I would
but
never be a sperm
cement
donor.
socks. No new discoveries. All this research, all these years.
The only reason you would want to be in your kid's life is if you see somebody like in 5K, somebody that looked just like him in the NBA. Bong.
I'll be mad as hell.
What?
That's not my kid. I'll be on the first day smoking. Tell the Celtics tell me to get down here. I'm the dad.
So how about this story?
Fuck that.
Now, this is something that, all of us are in the community of hip-hop. We are familiar with this story, but it has progressed, though. 3 men arrested in connection with Mac Miller's death. They've now been indicted and accused of dealing counterfeit oxycodone that caused his death. A federal grand jury handed up the indictments of these 3 guys, I ain't gonna say their name, in a California federal court. The pills Mac received were counterfeit and contained fentanyl, the powerful synthetic opioid 50 times more potent than heroin.
That shit's crazy, man.
Rest in peace, Mac.
Rest in peace,
Yeah,
Mac,
man. God bless him.
I heard that story, man. I'm like, man, if they start arresting drug dealers for the people that we
Well, I think what
We've
they
lost
might
doing
have
is,
killed.
though,
Man.
now, are they arresting them for selling drugs, or are they arresting them because
I thought they got the murder charge.
Now, what I'm saying is, but are they arresting them because it was counterfeit oxycodone?
Yeah, so you saying if it was
I
just
think
a
if they
regular
were selling
overdose?
real oxycodone,
Yeah.
I feel like they probably wouldn't be pursuing it. So
Yeah, because if you
Yeah.
sell a counterfeit, you
Yeah.
intended to kill. You knew. I mean,
nah, it ain't that you knew. It's just
you
that,
got them things you don't know that kill people.
Nah, man, because I'm sure they sold them to other people that didn't die.
Well, you killed Mac Miller, you gonna pay for that one.
Man, I'm saying I think that the fact that they aren't authentic, substances.
Had to be because people have overdosed before.
Absolutely.
And died.
But
I
we
ain't
don't
never heard
know
them
the drug
arresting
dealers,
them.
what I'm trying to say. People that
Yeah, I was
overdose.
like, how do you find them?
I think it's the counterfeit. I think it's the counterfeit part because you got to think about that. Now, opioids, that's the government's business.
Yeah.
That's the just as
Oh,
well, just as
oh,
well as
oh, yeah, you're
just
right
as
about
well
that.
as just as well as crack
like-
was the government
that's like some
business in the
street
80s
shit.
and 90s.
Oh, you selling
It's
fake
like,
shit?
oh,
nigga?
you got fake shit, huh?
Yeah, I don't mind them
and
going
we
to
put
jail
the
for
real
that.
shits on the streets? Oh, no.
I don't mind them going to jail for that because back in the day, I bought a half ounce of crack and it was like mostly isotol. So it wasn't no
Yeah.
cocaine
You bought that from
and it
somebody
was
like
like
me.
Yes.
Yeah, that's hard.
I remember the
See,
dude
motherfuckers
name and
like you
everything.
Fuck the game up.
That actually what made me stop selling crack.
I'm one of them people that back in the day, I was a regular drug dealer with y'all,
Yeah.
and then I go be over there and be selling the fake shit.
That was the worst feeling in the world. I was stuck with that half ounce for months.
That shit fucked up.
Man, you remember threw that shit away.
I
I
called
did.
home.
I bought something.
The
I
worst
bought
place-
a quarter spoon of something else, 7 grams of something else, and sold that to try to get the money back to pay the dude his little $500
Back
for
in the
the half
days,
ounce.
if you went to Harlem to buy weed, anybody knows this. If you went uptown to buy weed, your ass to get robbed. You get sneak thief like no other. I'm talking about like right in front of you, like, yo, I'm going right here. The door's right here. Like, all right, he walk out to another apartment and keep it moving. You be in the home like,
Shit,
for half
man,
a
I ain't
pound.
never gave nobody no money of mine and let them walk out no door.
I'm saying they walk in his crib. Like,
I
imagine you in an
ain't do
apartment
that.
home where I
Nah,
walk in
I
the
ain't
apartment,
never
walk
did
out
that.
down the hall.
I ain't never did that. I ain't never did that. I'm gonna come on, man. Same time. I don't really know.
Same
but-
Yeah, I don't mind them drug dealers going to jail.
Now speaking of the drug trade, man, I read that you were arrested for drugs and your pops he refused to pay your bail.
Yeah, the first time I ever went to jail was for assault and battery with intent to kill. And I was in high school, and already I got kicked out of one high school. I got kicked out of Berkeley High School, and they sent me to Stratford High School because that's where my mom used to teach.
Right.
And
Your mom was a teacher?
school English teacher in Berkeley County,
Okay.
30 plus years.
And what ended up happening?
Well, for that case, I was with my homeboys, my partners, and we was in this neighborhood because it was a new school. So we in this other neighborhood kicking it with some girls.
Yeah.
And then some of the dudes in the neighborhood came riding by. We was on our fucking Boys in the Hood shit, like we at the movie theater drive-through. Like, what's up? You got a problem, cuz? All that
Whoa.
bullshit. And then we went to Burger King or McDonald's, and when we was leaving, they pulled up beside us. And my partner had a little 25, and he let it go. And so they came and arrested me from high school the next day.
Damn.
And my dumb ass wrote a whole statement, sending the police on a wild goose chase saying I was hitchhiking and I was with some hitchhikers. I don't know the people I was with, X, Y, and Z. Then they ended up locking my partner up. So we ended up sitting in jail. And my father at the time, he was like, man, I'm not paying you no bail just because of the way I was wilding.
Damn.
So I was wilding in school. He always told me I'm going to end up in jail dead or broke sitting under the tree if I didn't change my ways. So
Right.
that time in the county jail, he let me sit there for like 50 days.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah. And he was waiting on that bond to get
Charlamagne
reduced
was
too,
the
though.
bag-
The first,
might have been a bad
he
kid.
knew something.
Yeah,
he knew something. He knew something.
He was waiting on that bond
Might
to
have
get
been a bad
reduced.
kid.
Would you consider that to be like a turning point for you
Yeah,
in your
that's
life?
crazy.
Nah, because I got arrested like 3-4 more times after that. Me and my pops got arrested
At
together.
that age?
You and your pops got arrested together.
Hell yeah.
Let's talk about that.
They used to think my pops was a kingpin. Salute to my pops, Larry McKelvey in Moss Corner, South Carolina. They used to think he was some type of drug kingpin for whatever reason.
Right.
And he was leaving his little sugar shack one day, and he had his girlfriend with him, and they pulled him over, searched him, and he had like less than a gram of coke under the brim of his hat.
What?
So they used that to come search my mother's house. And I literally had just came in from the block, and I had a capsule of crack, and I remember putting it in a coat jacket in my closet, and the coat jacket had a hole in the inside pocket, so it dropped all the way to the inner lining. So when the police came to knock on the door, I'm like, oh, shit. And they wanted my mom to sign a warrant to search the house. I'm telling my mom, you ain't got to sign the warrant. My mom ain't know no better. She a Jehovah's Witness English teacher. I'm like, you don't got to sign the warrant. She signed the warrant because they told her, it was like, if you don't sign it, we're going to come back and kick the door and whatever.
Damn.
Well, come back.
Nah.
We'll be here. And this should be empty as hell.
So she signed the warrant, and they searched the house. Never found the capsule of crack I had in the coat.
Yeah, because you had the secret stash.
Absolutely.
That's
but
a good
what they did find was in the trash can, I had a baggie that had some residue on it.
Oh, the baggy shit. You go to jail for
So
baggy.
they took me to jail for less than a gram of coke. So they had me and my father sitting in the holding cell for a whole weekend for less than a gram of cocaine.
God.
Oh, y'all had it for a whole weekend?
Whole weekend.
That's 3 days. I'm about to say, all you had to do is say we was just getting high. They would let you know.
So how do you go from that moment to when you went and got an internship at a radio station for the first time?
Because my father used to always tell me, if I don't change my life, my lifestyle, I'm going to end up in jail, dead, or broke sitting under the tree. So after bumping my head a couple times and realizing, like, this nigga right. Like, we going to jail. I got partners that's getting killed. I got older cousins that's really broke sitting under the tree, people that I used to look up to.
Right.
So I'm like, man, I don't want to be one of them.
Hell no.
So what I started doing, I just started working odd jobs. So I worked at a warehouse. I worked at a flower garden. I worked at a clothing store in the mall called Demo. I worked at a telemarketing
Real
place.
hustler.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? By any means.
And I used to want to rap. So I was sitting in the recording studio one day, and I met a local radio personality named Willie Will. And I just asked him, like, yo, how you getting the radio? And he was like, I went down there. He said, I got an internship. And I said, it's that easy? I can just go down there and get an internship? This is 1998, Charleston, South Carolina. And he like, yeah, you ain't got to be in school or nothing. That's information. That's why we got to share information with each other. Because if nobody had told me that, I wouldn't even have thought that I could go down there.
Guess what? He still wouldn't have told you had you not asked.
That's a fact. Yeah. That's a fact. So I went down there, filled out the internship papers, and that's how I got my foot in the game of radio.
Right.
But you took the internship. See, that's a lot of things people want to skip past.
That's not a paid internship.
Nah.
No, you worked for free for about 3 months, right?
Hell yeah. But no, longer than that.
What?
I worked for free for like a year.
Oh, shit.
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
My first paid position was in the promotions department. So you're still a glorified intern. You're just making $5, $6 an hour. You know what I'm saying?
Now, the drug trade that we knew back then versus right now. Okay, when it was the war on drugs and the crack epidemic, they jailed us. Okay, now that it's an opioid epidemic,
you go to rehab.
It's rehab and treatment.
Yeah.
I mean,
damn.
Of course. I mean, and then check this out. You know, the guys that came out with, you know, the Oxycontin that got the lawsuit, and they were supposed to pay out, what was it, $21 billion or something like that. Number. They filed for bankruptcy.
Remix.
So, yeah, that story.
We're not paying you guys shit.
They filed for bankruptcy, so.
Well, I owe you guys nothing. In fact, I'm leaving.
Get it like the Red Cross, they say. Like, how in the hell does... Like, how
you talking about Johnson & Johnson, right?
No, it's not. No, that's not Johnson & Johnson.
It was some pharmaceutical company. Yeah.
But it's not Johnson & Johnson.
I did hear that story.
Yeah,
Oh, Purdue.
Okay.
Purdue.
It's Purdue.
Purdue chicken?
No. Wait a minute.
They make pills too?
Hey, man.
Now, these niggas...
Put some brakes on your skates now. Wait a minute. But yeah, so and now the people, you know what I'm saying, actually the ruling went in the favor of the people, and Purdue saw fit to file bankruptcy so they wouldn't have to pay. How in the hell can that be allowed to happen?
Shit, that's what corporations do all the time.
I don't think they was going to pay in the first place. They said that to get you feeling good and then let you know this is what's really going on.
Bankruptcy, we out. Hell yeah.
How many times are you allowed to file bankruptcy?
He had the airline. Both of them shits went up.
And the college.
And the college.
Yeah.
That's how you erase your debt. Companies be in the hole. They're like, you know what? File bankruptcy. I know a lot. I know corporations that want to do that.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? In order to not have to pay the debt, they rather just file bankruptcy, get that shit wiped off, and start anew. Absolutely.
Damn. Did you hear about this this Sunday service, the Sunday service walkouts in New York?
Nah.
They say Kanye, man, had a Sunday service, and it sparked, it prompted people to walk out.
Why? Was it too long?
Well,
if service is too long, I don't mind you walking out.
Yeah, well, you know.
I wasn't at the last service, but I seen some stuff at the last service. That the one in Atlanta, I missed that one.
I mean, it wasn't Kanye's fault though.
I like Kanye's Sunday service when he's in the woods. That was the dope.
Like you said,
that was the dope thing. We was in the woods.
Don't find God in a man-made building.
Yeah, this church tour thing.
It make it too churchy.
I don't like church. When I seen him in there, I was like, what is he
yeah.
doing? And then he's not preaching.
Yeah.
The preacher of the church, he got the mic. All right, everybody, we got Kanye here tonight. We need to.
Yeah.
He's like, come on, man.
They giving Kanye too much flack for that shit, though.
Yeah, I think he actually. I feel that he's genuine.
I mean, one of his first big hits was Jesus Walks.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like it ain't like he never
grew
been.
up in the church,
yeah, it's not like he hasn't been leaning on Christ forever. Like Jesus Walks was the same type of record where everybody's like, oh, this ain't gonna play on the radio. You can't make a record about Jesus.
Jesus Walk was in the club, dog.
Yeah. Jesus Walks was in the club.
I mean, I was in the club a few times smoking, like. I'm lusting bitches. I'm like,
Jesus did not tell you anything was wrong with marijuana.
Exactly.
The burning
Jesus
bush.
didn't tell you that. The burning
bush.
Singing Jesus Walks. I'm like, this shit's crazy.
Now, what was that
Forgive
Moses?
me, Father.
I think it was Moses.
That Moses at the burning bush?
Yeah.
Moses was getting high, man.
Moses was getting definitely
Moses
high.
was getting high, man.
They said they found the weed on Samson's casket or gravesite or something. That's where the first piece of bud was found.
For real?
On Samson, King Samson, whatever.
Yeah.
Samson, yeah, that's how it's in the Bible too.
I think they done scared Kanye into not putting his album out too.
He's about to doing too much.
Nah, I just think that he did the church tour and he put it out, and I don't think he got the reviews he wanted, and I think he decided to take a step back.
I don't think a church tour was. I think, like you said, he should have kept it in the wilderness.
Kept it in the wilderness. Do it in the parks. He just did it in Central Park.
That's why
that would have
been fire.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Legendary.
I believe that's what's causing all the flack because, as it's stated here, Brother Jesus held his infamous, or should I say, his celebrated Sunday service at the Greater Allen AME Cathedral in Queens.
That's the problem. The cathedral?
And a number of regular churchgoers walked out mid-performance. Now, I mean...
I get it, because they came for the word. That's a Sunday, too.
But it comes at the end, though. After the word is, you know what I'm saying, after they do the collection, the fifth collection, and they finish,
you know what I'm saying?
with the word.
They said they started high up there. It went to 50,000. What was it?
20,000.
20,000.
Nah, it's 20 people. What he said was, I need 20 people to stand up and dedicate $1,000.
Nah.
Holy shit.
Nah.
And he counted them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He counted up to 23.
In New York?
Nah.
Oh, in Atlanta. Okay, when y'all.
Atlanta.
Okay, got you.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, but we've already talked about that. There's water under the bridge.
I just don't think they should put a number on it. You know what I'm saying?
No,
You can't
it's
tell me
collective.
what to give.
Man. Hey man, you got some people who got they got your W-2s.
Yeah.
And,
You
No,
know,
the church
by
owned
where
you.
you sit in the church, like the first couple of rows, and that's the bank rows. You know what
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I went to Bishop T.D. Jake Church in the Potter's house, man, that sermon was so fire. I felt like I ain't had enough money.
What?
Yes. So when they started passing the slips around, he got the slip where you could put your credit card information and all of that type of stuff.
What?
I gave him a band.
You gave T.D. Jakes a man.
Man, listen, his sermon was that good.
I'm not giving nobody, any of the preachers that's on TV preaching, I'm done.
Why you don't like Bishop T.D. Jakes, man?
I just told you, I don't like Creflo Dollar, T.D. Jakes. I don't like
I think
none of them.
T.D. for real, and he be dressing his ass off.
I like TD, man. I ain't got no problem with him. He's not.
I believe that if you go to church, everybody has the preacher, even though he could be whatever. He might say something that service that can help your life.
Yes.
Or be important.
It's
to you.
a show. You could go see a movie that inspires you. It's a show, man.
Don't T.D. Jakes got that jet plane and all that?
Everybody
all
got
got 'em.
jets.
He deserves it.
No.
He got bars.
What's deserved?
Yeah, see,
I think. Listen, I'm gonna tell you why.
funny, bro?
No, we talked
he's
about.
serious.
Listen, we talked about people being gifted, right? So you talk about gifted ball players, gifted
Right.
rappers. He's a gifted pastor. He's an anointed human. If you listen to him, he be spitting. He got bars.
I go for that.
I don't like preachers that yell.
I've heard a lot of pastors in my life. Bishop is up there, bro. Bishop is the Jay-Z of pastors. He's
Jay-Z?
that good.
Okay.
Yes, man.
You're making me go check him out.
Man, I promise you, if you go to Pod
I
House,
like TD Jakes.
and it got a college arena feel.
I don't really want to go to the church though.
I
It
think you
just
like
make me
Pod House.
feel.
It's in Dallas' church.
Man,
It make me feel like a scam.
It feels fake.
Yes.
It feels fake. I can have a conversation with a pastor, like, just over dinner or out here in the world, and we'll get along just fine. And I feel like going into the church is like, man, this is some bullshit.
I get it.
This
Especially
ain't
when they
because
speak in tongues.
it doesn't represent, or it isn't what it was intended or how it was presented to be
business.
intended.
It's a business.
When
And
they
if it
speak
is
in-
a business, I ain't got no problem with that. Just tell us, hey man,
Yes.
business is slow this week. You're gonna need a little extra.
We can reach
You know
but
what I'm
real
saying?
churches do that. Real churches do that. Real churches do that.
I think he deserves
Smaller
it.
churches.
I think Minister Farrakhan deserve it.
Yeah.
Man, them
Hold
bu-
up, wait. Don't put TD Jakes and Farrakhan in the
But I'm
same-
just talking about as far as being anointed and having that gift.
I go with
TD Jakes
Farrakhan
ain't no
before I.
Me
know
too.
what I mean,
TD
just
Jakes like
because-
to Farrakhan is like up there. He's the best to me.
Oh no, Farrakhan's a beast.
I mean,
Farrakhan's a beast.
He's the
it's
best.
been
to me.
decades.
Yeah,
been
man.
decades.
Yeah,
And he
man.
speak truth. You know what I'm saying?
And he bought $1 million out.
It's been decades.
We need another one of those.
We
Well,
definitely need
Another
What?
Million Man
Another
March.
Million Man March, man.
For what? Did we just have? I'm saying, what's going to do? Everybody just drunk beer and
Lord
talked about their wives.
You telling me you went to the Million Man March drinking a beer?
Everybody who went
Bro.
there talked about their wives and drunk
Oh,
beer.
man.
About their wives.
Yeah, Susie. You know what I mean? It was just a bunch of men talking, rolling dice,
Oh,
whatever,
man.
whatever
Bobby,
men do.
so
it.
crazy.
Rolling
dice?
Let's do all types of shit on Capitol Hill.
I wasn't in the one in the 90s. I definitely went to the Million More movement in the 2000s,
went to the
though.
one in the 90s.
You was there?
Yeah.
Which one was
I
better?
ain't go.
The one in the
The
90s.
original one.
Yes,
Because that one was real. The real brothers was there.
Yeah.
See, they
It's
took the brothers
actually-
off the streets by
I think
2000
the
something.
anniversary is like the 25th of October.
I just think it would be good because, like, we need that type of unity. We need to show that type of sense of community, and I think we just need to have other brothers there telling brothers we love them and we value them and we
I agree with
appreciate
that.
them, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think it would be a good reset. We press a good reset button going into a new decade.
That makes sense.
That definitely makes sense.
That makes sense. Now, one thing I never asked you before, where did the name Charlamagne come from?
When I used to sell crack, I used to say my name was Charles. Or Charlie. I'm from a small town.
Right.
So, the fiends will roll up and they'll see me like, oh, that's Larry's son, or that's Julie's son.
Whoa.
And then they would go tell on me as if they wasn't buying it. You know what I'm saying? And so I used to have a hoodie on and just be like, my name was Charles or Charlie. And then I was reading in a history book that Charlamagne was French for Charles the Great.
Oh, you ain't got smart in the hood.
I was
That's
young. I was
fire.
just,
Still read books.
I was just like,
That's
yo,
fire.
this
His mother was a teacher.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, you see, yeah,
I grew up off the
that's
Book It
right.
program, man. You had to read 4 books for a
Absolutely.
pizza.
Hey, I remember
Remember that shit?
I remember that.
You had to read 4 books to get a free pizza.
Yeah.
So I used to just run through books, and my mother used to always say, read things that don't pertain to you. So I'd be reading shit like Judy Blume and Beverly Clearly, and then I got into Supernatural,
Tales
Ghost,
of the
and
fourth grader.
Tales of 4th Grade Nothing, you know what I'm saying?
Never heard
That was
of
Ramona Quimby, right?
Was
No, that was Judy Blume. That was a Judy Blume book. Ramona Quimby was Ramona Quimby age 8, shit like that.
Man, what is the most dangerous situation you feel like you've gotten into with your line of work? You know what I mean? Because I've heard stories, but
I mean, I can't really say nothing dangerous. I mean, it's like everybody's seen the Can I Get a Drop shit where they tried to jump me in front of the station.
Right.
What happened with that?
When they tried to jump me in front of the station and the dude hit me from behind.
okay.
So I took off. Then I turned around and saw 4 other dudes coming at me, and I was like, "Oh fuck that!" So I got up out of there. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the most dangerous situation.
That wasn't the most dangerous. That was a hurtful situation because I couldn't sing the line of Motivation no more. Remember Motivation was like, "I don't care if it's 4 niggas, tell them jump." You know what I'm saying?
I gotta get quiet on that
Yeah,
part.
I had to get quiet on that part. But I mean, I've gotten in fights across the street from the radio station. I've never felt like I've been in any danger.
Yeah, but
Like
it had never been no like life threatening danger.
Nah, man.
Like guys waiting outside the station ain't as dangerous as unidentified parked cars in front of your building.
That's what I'm
in front
saying.
of your house.
And I've actually had guns pulled on me in my life. You know what I'm saying? Not when I was in radio, but when I was in the street. So it's like, what is that? Right. You know what I mean? Even when you in there interviewing artists and they get hostile and shit like that, I never felt like any of that was a threat. Never felt like it was a threat.
No, I love the way you handle yourself when the artists get hyped. I love it. I love when you look at them like, what? They said that you. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about because we need that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of artists be friends.
I never felt like it was a threat. Now, I had a lot of partners from Atlanta hit me up and be like, hey, man, I just need you to know, Birdman may not have been no threat, but there was a real one sitting by you. Rollo.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know him.
Oh, Rollo's the brother?
Yeah.
Shout out to Rollo. That's my man. I got mad love for Rollo.
Yeah.
Free
like,
the kid.
It's like just letting you know.
But Rollo ain't say nothing to you?
Nah.
Yeah, Rollo ain't, he wasn't no
He just caught around with Birdman. We go to Breakfast Club?
Right.
I'm thinking,
And by the way, it was so many people on social media saying, man, he fucked up Rollo moment. We want to hear from Rollo. And I was like, I don't know who Rollo is. I didn't know who he was. The only time I ever felt like somebody was going to really put hands on me in that studio was goddamn Nelly.
Nelly?
What?
I didn't even see that.
What happened with Mo?
Cause this was 8-9 years ago, but I remember Nelly coming in there and we having a conversation, and I was talking. I'm like Nelly, you kind of cold out here musically. You know,
You hit him with that?
Yeah. And Nelly said, he said, man, I keep retainers for brothers like you, cuz. I said, calm. I was like, I understand that language. You know what I'm saying? I understand that talk. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, when you come from a certain environment, you know when something's a threat and when something's not.
Right.
So you coming in there with the rah-rah and you all this and that, whatever. I've seen that before. When somebody talk to you like that,
very quiet.
Or pass that paper over like this. Here, Charlamagne. What'd you say? Do you know?
With your address on it. What were you saying?
Commercial break.
but I thought, he the only person that ever felt like, all right, now he'll put hands on you.
Well, now, you guys have, I think you, Angela Yee, and DJ Envy, y'all have it's a very, I guess, I don't want to call it strange, but it's a different dynamic. I feel like each of y'all serve a different purpose. Y'all play good cop, bad cop, and indifferent cop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How does that, do y'all like meet?
Never.
So it's all just, organic.
I don't even talk to them until we get the radio. I don't. Me and Envy might talk outside of radio every now and then, but we don't kick it, you know what I'm saying?
That's fine.
So it's just like, that's just the natural chemistry that happens.
That makes it better.
Yeah.
I think if y'all hung out, it'll be somewhat
It'll be watered down.
Yeah.
As a viewer, we'll be able to tell.
Yeah,
and I think because all of us were sidekicks at one point, we were all somebody's co-hosts.
Yeah.
Like Envy was Miss Jones' co-host, I was Wendy's co-host, Angela was Cypher Sounds.
Oh.
So I think that dynamic, when we come together, we just know how to work with each other.
So you started with Wendy.
No, I started in South Carolina.
You know what I'm saying? But you started in
New York.
Yeah.
I got my break in New York with Wendy in 2006. Nah, I ain't talked to Wendy in 10 years. Matter of fact, Wendy called me for the first time this year after 10 years because I don't fuck with her husband. Her husband's a clown.
Yeah, he is.
You know?
Another fake Brooklyn dude running with these Brooklyn.
Wait a minute. Hey, bro.
I'm just keeping it real.
Hey, man, I'm just saying.
Hey, listen, man.
I'm just saying.
I'm good. I'm good. Wendy Williams' husband is not.
So when they got a divorce, right before they got a divorce, she called me and we chopped it up for 3-4 hours.
Well, that's dope.
And
man.
that was a good conversation.
Now, how was that dynamic? Just in your opinion, right? When you have Wendy, who's pretty much kind of made an empire off of sensationalizing the tough times that others go through, and when she's going through her tough time, and do you think that that's just par for the course?
No, I thought she was full of shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm being honest. But I thought she was full of shit for years. And I'm saying this out of love, just because I thought it was the weirdest thing in the world to get on the radio and talk about everybody else. When I know what's happening to you at home.
Right.
I know the bullshit you was going through with your husband. I know the emotional abuse, the physical abuse, the mental abuse. I've seen it.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So I just always thought that was wild to get up there and portray this image of a strong black woman telling everybody else to lead amen and do X, Y, and Z.
You ain't did.
And you didn't do it. But she got the script. She did it this time. I was shocked.
I think she learned this little run right here. Because on social media, really gave it to her. That's one thing about social media. You fuck up on there. Nobody's holding back.
You can't hide no more.
That's what I'm saying. Kids are watching like, something wrong.
Absolutely.
Turn the comments off.
And we live in this, we live in this era of transparency. You can't front. This ain't like the 90s when you can hide shit and fake shit. Not no more. People see through all that bullshit.
I'm telling you, man. Now, another thing that you and I did together that a lot of people probably don't have the awareness of is we went to Capitol Hill together.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. We went to Capitol Hill. We had the privilege of working together, discussing opportunity zones on both sides of the aisle. And I've also sat down to speak with you about equality for women. Mm-hmm. And I know you're a stand-up guy, but what is the thing that keeps Charlamagne up at night?
What is the thing that keeps me up at night?
I mean, the thing that you're trying to, the thing you most want to find a solution for.
Oh man, I think it's the mental health conversation, and the reason I think it's the mental health thing is because I feel like if we as black people can deal with that trauma and get that in order, we'll just stop redistributing pain to each other. Like when we talk about we want unity and group operation, and we talk about we want to stop the self-hate and we want to stop hating on each other, I feel like we got to get to the root of that.
That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm hurt people. But I'm a stern believer that your thoughts become things. So if your mental ain't straight, if your mental ain't strong, nothing else is going to be strong in your life. So just, I never felt like I was walking in my purpose until like the last 3 years of my life. Like the last 3, 4 years of my life. You've been glowing
the last 2, 3 years.
Now, how long, wait a minute. How long, what was the epiphany that you had when you just said, you know what, black men don't cheat no more?
Shit, when I got coming out here to L.A. and cheating all the motherfucking time and sitting down with my wife one day and she ran down the whole resume to me.
Oh, man.
I'm like, how you know her? How you know this person? How you know that person? Paper over. Yeah, and then Exactly. Oh, and then it's just like, not wanting to make the same mistakes my father made. You know what I'm saying? Wanting to break them generational curses.
That's a big thing.
Because I watched my father ruin our whole household because he couldn't keep his dick in his pants. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I got 3 daughters at home. I don't want to be just coming to see them on weekends. Like,
that shit's whack, man.
It's whack.
Man, when you get a taste of that family life, it's like, I'm not... Forget all that.
I ain't cheated in 4 years. I feel good. I'm like a motherfucker that
you can tell
that ain't
like
drunk.
you,
that ain't. I was an alcoholic. That I've been sober for 4 years. I should be applauded. Goddamn it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's give some round of applause.
I ain't cheated in 4 years, and it feel good. You know what I'm saying? The energy is different. So, and it's just like about being.
You get out of it what you put into it.
Get out what you put into it.
You know what I'm saying? If you put dedication and commitment, and a real sincere passion for your relationship, if you put that into it, then you're going to get that back out of it.
And we live great lives. I don't want to be sharing this. I don't want to be sharing this great life with
that
motherfuckers.
Guilt is something else, huh?
Yeah, man.
That guilt get heavy. Christmas.
Come on,
all that
man.
shit. You just did some fucked up
shit. Damn, how many holidays have you spent alone, 5 mics?
Me? I'm not going to lie. I've been lonely this last year or so, but other than that, I've always been.
On regular days, not just on Thanksgiving and Christmas.
No, well, I've been with your family on Thanksgiving and Christmas. I've been enjoying Christmas and Thanksgiving. Actually, I've been having great Christmases and Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving over his house is popping.
Well,
hey man, listen,
get some more stuffed turkey right there, yeah. But you need a companion.
Damn, why your eyes got a little watery, man?
Yeah, man, really over here, man.
Got a little watery. Bob, why your eyes got a little watery?
1942.
I'm emotional. Gotta let you know.
You just want somebody to share your experiences with. That's all. Kevin Lyles told me that a long time ago. Kevin Lyles said, I can't tell you to get married, but I can tell you to find somebody to share your experiences with.
You know what? The thing is, right, it's two things that you'll know when you in love and when you just ready to cut it off. When, let's just say right now, right, you walk outside and phone rings and it's a deal on the line. You just secured a deal for $2.5 million. The first person you want to call to share that news with,
that's real.
That's her.
That's real.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
And also, the juxtaposition. Let's say you walk outside, and on the way to the car, you get swarmed and apprehended by the authorities, thrown into a holding cell.
Whoa.
You got one phone call.
You already know.
That's real.
Whoever you want to call,
That's real.
that's the one.
That emergency contact can put you right down.
You see, I'm single. I'm at that stage though. I'm calling one of my old shorties that.
See, but why though? She got Jody next to her.
No,
why
but
you
we locked in forever. You gotta
up?
call the ones you lock. I got them locked in joints. Like,
Nah.
is your boyfriend home?
See, that's what you think.
Come downtown.
That's
Come
what you think.
downtown.
She ain't leaving. But see, that's the point. If she was really yours, she'd leave with her boyfriend in the house.
What?
You
If
hear?
she get me out of jail, she's mine.
She ain't leaving the
No,
house.
it's not
if her
true.
boyfriend home.
No?
She's a good Samaritan.
That's a fact.
She's a good Samaritan. She's a good Christian with a
Got
good
a heart.
heart.
Yeah, she got a good heart.
She tithing.
That's all it is.
She
I'm
tithing,
just
doing
not-
some
I'm
community
not at that point
service.
in my life.
What do you mean not that point? Well, what point you waiting
I
on?
tried to do that shit.
Senior
Tried to do what?
citizenship?
Get in love and get married.
What you mean you tried? How you tried?
I tried.
How you tried?
I was with somebody for 9 years. Got in love.
I ain't never seen you. Who you with?
I don't bring her around. I'm not bringing her to the
How
hip hop
can-
function.
See,
Yeah,
that's
right.
the thing, though.
She stays in the house.
But see, that's the
Wifey,
thing, though.
she's staying in the
What, are
house.
you ashamed?
Not ashamed is that I can't supervise all the wolves. I'm
You
not
mean
time for that shit.
supervise? What about the trust?
Hey, listen, I'm coming up at that time. I'm not established young man, got it popping, my girl, sit down. I'm figuring it out. I'm trying to figure
You
it out.
can't
So,
sit
supposed to
a
love you
woman
for you.
down.
yes, I'm trying to tell you, when you're in the figure out stage,
You
she
can't
fucking
sit a
with you,
woman
but somebody
down.
could
She fuck with you.
somebody could come in and taint your shit up a
See,
little
man, you ain't whipping
Couple
that dick out
1940s.
right, Five. You ain't whipping
She
that
ain't the
dick
one.
out right.
No,
Hey,
listen.
listen, I'm gonna tell you something, man. This is the thing. When you and another person connect on a emotional, spiritual, mental, just a beyond physical level. That combination of those two energies cannot be duplicated.
That's a fact.
You see what I'm saying? So you can get with somebody else, and y'all might have a different energy or another energy. She can get with somebody else, and they might have another energy. But the energy of you and her can never be duplicated.
That's a fact.
But better deals come by. I'm not going to, you know what I mean?
But you ain't with a woman for the deal.
I'm saying what they with me for. You know what I mean? We get down to the studio, Jay-Z say, hey, you kind of pretty, and she's out of here. What am I do?
That's not true.
I be in places that they friend, like my own people, like, what you want to do, Fab?
That's
You know what
not
I'm saying?
true,
Like, that's
bro.
what
She not the one for you anyway. Then if she
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
If
That's
she
why I'm out
if she
here.
can be taken away like that, then she never
Right
was
now,
the
I'm
one
just
for you.
focusing on my career craft and, you know what I mean, being a
So
good father.
basically, you just think that all women, like the women that you've had, you feel like they all had potential to be apprehended.
No, that's not true. I feel like my career and my dreams outweigh the relationship.
Man, you sound like one of these women.
But you go from, but check this out though. But you go from
Chasing your dreams is
Now
bad.
check this out. But you go from right now. You are I'm coming up and I ain't really got it like I want to, so I don't need no woman. And you go from that to once you actually get it, it's like, well, now that I done came up,
You getting a certain
I don't
kind.
know who really want me for me. So
Yeah.
Hold up, but
like,
that-
so
but-
which is it?
But even when I'm in a low standpoint, I just told you my circle is a little different. You understand? I might be in a room all full of everybody's favorite people. So
What that got to do
What
with
they
being
got
in
to do with
love?
anything?
He's saying they
when
could
you're
be
not in that
influenced.
position, you can see it. I
But they
mean,
not 5. If a woman loves
There
you,
you
she
go.
love you because you
And
5.
I'm just telling you, it's like how far that go when the bills due.
Well, I mean, you got to go out and actually
you gotta
do
go-
something too.
yeah.
I
as
can
a
do something for
man.
myself. I
mean,
can't take care of whole families. I'm trying to make it. You see, I can't take care of you and all these families, your community because I'm trying to. No, I'm good by myself, and I'm with Tip, and I got a few stacks on me. I'm good. I can survive and run around, but I can't survive running around and be a dad.
So you wait until you get your paper right to fall in love?
because I've been a person,
growing love?
I've took care of a lot of stepkids. I've talked to older women my whole life.
And do you get a card on
You
Father's
don't get
Day?
shit.
No
Yo,
card
you don't
on
get
Father's
shit.
Day.
I don't care how many years you put in.
No
As
card
soon
on
as it's over
Father's
with
Day.
mom, you're not my dad.
Right.
So when these things, when you learn, you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna get my shit together. So I can just kick it with somebody, and it doesn't matter. Like we're just kicking it. But in my instance, girls get with me like, 5's always around the bag. He's gonna lead me to a bag. And I don't be I be in
That's an
love.
opportunity.
Yeah, to the bag comes.
So you saying you a breadcrumb?
No,
That's what you saying?
Damn.
I'm just
I'd
being
rather you get you a nice, fine, honest prostitute before you get to run
But you live
into
and
these
you learn. This
opportunities.
is how you learn. You live and you learn. Like now, like I said, even my relationship with girls is way different because I'm not strategizing either. It was the point where I had to be something I'm not trying to make. You know what I mean?
I feel like you like fat white girls, Five, with money and good credit.
Absolutely, yeah. That's it. That's it.
Why would you say that?
They ain't got to be white.
Why would you say that?
I feel like that's your type.
That's not my type.
You got a couple of those on the roster.
I do have a couple.
I was about to say,
but I explained this the other day. I like all shapes. I don't have no problem. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't got no problem with what, man.
I have a, you know what I mean? Certain, all right, that's too big. But away from that, I don't.
If they got good credit and they got some change or something, you down.
No, to mess with me, you have to have money.
Man,
it don't make no sense. I'm not gonna be dishing out all the money.
Yeah,
that ain't gonna work. I'm trying to come up. How I'm gonna do that? 50-50.
Hey, man.
So a dangerous mind, bro.
Man, to take us out of here, man.
Oh,
In your second book, Shook Ones, of course, we already mentioned that you combat the stigma around mental health. So, what is the meaning behind the title, and what are the key takeaways?
Well, I didn't go to college. So being that I didn't go to college, you know what I'm saying, most of my education came from my experiences in the street and my experiences with hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? When I think about hip-hop, that's what helped me to transcend my circumstances, music and books.
Right.
So when I had the title Shook One, it was kind of reframing that term. Because, you know, in the hood, if you was a shook one,
you scared.
You scared.
Yeah.
You know, you fooled. You know, and that's we put these defense mechanisms up because we don't want people to know that we are indeed shook. So I was just really saying it's shook one because it's okay to be shook. It's okay to have some fears. It's okay to have some insecurities. And then the subtitle, Anxiety Playing Tricks on Me, that's the play off Mind Playing Tricks on Me. Because if you go back and you listen to that song by the Ghetto Boys, you realize Bushwick Bill, Willie D, Scarface, super anxiety. I had
anxiety, real.
That's why I had Scarface right to forward. You know what I'm saying? When you hear that song, you can tell like those are real experiences. The hallucinations.
You don't realize it till years later, though.
Oh
right?
man,
they struggling with everything.
Man.
You know, even substance abuse.
I think PTSD is something that we all deal with.
Absolutely.
It hasn't been recognized or acknowledged enough in our community among each other.
What's the full name of that?
PTSD,
post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
I'm just saying for people that didn't know.
Yeah, post-traumatic.
Man, I swear, boy, you so fucking smart.
Hey, I know I've been diagnosed with PTSD, man, and also some forms of anxiety. And they said mild depression, but at that time I was on my way to prison, so I was just sad about that.
Yeah.
Well, for the second time.
And the loss of life.
Yeah, loss
you know what
of
I'm
life.
saying? When you got a bunch of people around you that's constantly going.
That's the thing about me, though, bro. I'm numb.
Shit.
That's not good, though.
I'm numb to it.
I used to be the same way.
I'm numb to it, and I feel like I feel it. I'm torn because when family members die, of course, I feel in a sense kind of. I feel good because I'm able to be strong and be there for the people who grieve, and it's not really, you know what I'm saying, affecting me the way that I'm able to help them because I'm put together. Whereas other times I'm like, man, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Word up. That's one of the reasons I started going to therapy too. Cause I didn't feel shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like I'm numb to everything.
Yeah.
Bro, me and you had this conversation a couple of months ago.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I say,
especially with death.
Between seeing people die in the streets that I didn't really know, but just seeing that loss of life. But between having, my best friend in the world die in my arms, you know what I'm saying, and actually having to carry my stillborn daughter down and put her into a coroner van. I had to do it, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course my old lady, she won, she went, and I wasn't gonna just let a stranger so I, you know what I'm saying? So I had to pick my baby up and, and take her down there and place her in the van. But after that, I'm like, man, shit. What else is what else is there to feel?
I feel you.
What else is there to feel? Like if I made it through that and I kept it together, then for me to fall apart right now about something else, to me it doesn't equate.
That's all the effects of PTSD though. Like we go through so much of it, we become numb to the shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we don't even understand the repercussions.
Yeah, I mean natural causes of death, like when somebody's sick, even the stillborn. It's like that hurts, but you can kind of understand
Yeah,
that.
you kind of understand.
But when you see somebody get killed, that shit shouldn't be numb to us. No, like we've like that shit is normal to us, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because as long as if we keep normalizing it, then we're not gonna ever try to do anything to really, really prevent it.
It's crazy because when Nip passed, that's all it does is bring back memories.
That shit fucked me.
Bro, I was fucked up.
I felt that.
And you was with me.
I felt that.
You was with me when I lost my best friend.
Yeah.
And all it did was bring back those memories. When
All those traumatic experiences.
All those experiences. Me picking out my best friend's suit to put him in a cab. You know what I'm saying?
Like, dressed so many dead people.
Man, listen. So, what happened with Nip, and again, we talking about PTSD, right?
Yeah.
When do we break that cycle? Or how do we break that cycle?
This is what he said. It starts way.
I think to telling your story, sharing your experiences,
Yeah.
so everybody feels,
Everybody
everybody
speak up,
understands
stop
that they're not the
holding
only one going through it. Everybody keep the shit to themselves because they don't want to feel like an oddball. I'm out here talking about my feelings and shit. Ain't nobody else talking about their feelings, so why the fuck would I?
Because when
we don't cry.
I don't want to kill the party.
Yeah,
I used to get whoopings for crying. So
you know what I'm saying? That's what we do, right? That's how
Get
we
something
grow
to
up.
cry about. My grandma
I give something to cry about.
Yeah.
Get your ass
Well, we
out
need
that
some of that
window,
stuff.
I
That's
give you something
good.
to
We
cry
need some of
about.
that stuff.
We need to
There's
cry.
some cry babies out here though.
The Nipsey shit was so crazy because I never thought I would have empathy for the person who actually killed Nip.
Why?
When I saw that, I accidentally saw the video because somebody sent it to me and I didn't know what it was that night. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And I'm like, oh, shit. And when I saw him kick Nipsey, I was like, that nigga is hurting. That nigga got some pain in him that he ain't dealt with ever. Like, that's a different level of trauma. That's a different level of hate. After you shoot a brother like that and then kick him, that shit was some of the most evil shit I ever seen in my life. And that shit made
I watched that, bro.
That's what made me say, like, man, we
fact.
really got to start getting to the root of this motherfucking trauma that's in a lot of these brothers, man, because that's why they doing the shit that they do. That's why he was capable of doing some shit like that in the first place.
That's real. Now when we as we on the subject, what would you want the next generation to know about the subject of mental health, anxiety, PTSD, and other symptoms, other illnesses? What could a young person that may be dealing with depression, anxiety, or something, or even maybe suicidal, what could they do? What would be your message or your advice to them?
Number one, I would tell them it's okay to not be okay. You know what I'm saying? And I hope the next generation learns from us because we the ones that's telling our stories.
Right.
Because black people, we think we doing each other a favor by keeping secrets.
Right.
We're not keeping secrets, anymore. So now that we're not keeping secrets, we know that, okay, Charlamagne might deal with anxiety, or Tip might deal with PTSD, Amir might deal with depression. 5 just crazy, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? and so we giving people the tools and the resources and showing them, you can go to therapy.
Right.
You can go talk to a counselor. It's okay to grieve. Like, you don't got to just
okay to
walk.
cry.
You actually
It's okay to
encouraging
cry.
me to try therapy out.
5, I think it'll do
I went there when I
wonders
was a
for you.
kid and I didn't like it.
You said when you was a kid, though.
Yeah,
bro.
when
How
I
old
was
were
a
you?
kid, I was about 13, 12.
Were you honest with the therapist?
Yeah, I was going because, the mom situation, trying to figure out
gotcha.
who your mom is and all that type of stuff.
Oh, word. Nah, for real.
Put you
That's
there.
real.
But I didn't feel comfortable talking to the people.
Right.
I was in there, I'm happy, but once it come down, you're like, why am I telling this person all my shit?
Well, that's why it's good if you got more black therapists and stuff now.
Right.
Yeah, see,
You know
at
what
that
I'm saying?
time, I was downtown with some white lady.
Yeah,
You're correct
absolutely.
about that.
You feel because 9 times out of 10, they the people that is causing us to have a lot of these issues anyway.
Absolutely.
So
One of
now,
my uncles is...
yeah. So now when you got people that look like you, it's easy to tell your story. They understand your culture a lot better.
As a New York Times best-selling author, what are 3 books that you feel like help shape and mold you as a man?
Oh, that's easy. Message to the Black Man by Elijah Muhammad.
Mark it.
From Niggas to Gods by Akil. From Niggas to Gods was a book that used to go around in the jails a lot.
Yeah,
And
I got it.
You can order
Peace,
it off
God.
Amazon. That shit was amazing. You know what I'm saying? And probably The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
I'm familiar with all 3 of those books. I haven't read them in totality, but I'm familiar with them. There's a lot of knowledge in them.
Absolutely.
So everybody, y'all listen to these 3 books and mark them down. And I think you should make it your business to read them and get some knowledge in your head. 5.
Yeah, I'm going to check them out. What's the last one you said?
I don't mean just read the cover.
The 4 Agreements.
4 Agreements. I'm checking that out. You heard?
Man, and my last question. What advice do you have for somebody like me who just stumbling into this shit? How can I become
You a natural though,
bro.
Tip.
Man, but still,
You've been talking.
Nah, bro.
You gotta understand. No. People fell in love. People fell in love with your vocabulary years ago. Like years ago, they've been liking to hear T.I. talk. They've been liking to hear you in interviews, and
bro.
they like when they used to see you on DVDs talking. Like this, it's just a natural transition from what you've been doing.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
And with with what you've been doing on social media, this is just I've been telling you, like, you used to. I tell artists this all the time. Go watch T.I. interviews.
Yes,
because you don't know how, because they don't know how to answer questions or make people feel like they getting the answer without giving them the answer, and you know how to do that.
What do you mean?
You know, bro, I done been to hella radio stations with you,
Nigga, you
and I see people try to make you uncomfortable.
It don't work. That does not work.
And you make them feel like they getting what they need, and you haven't given them
nothing.
I remember in 2003. I had this artist that from South Carolina. We were shopping him around. I remember being in, I think it was Asylum.
Right.
And Joey I.E. said, "Can he talk?" I said, "What you mean, can he talk?" And he was like, "Can he talk?" I said, "What do you mean, can he talk?" "Yes, he can talk." He was like, No. "Can he talk like T.I.?"
Whoa.
This was 03. He said, "Can he talk like T.I.?" Because people got this stigma, this misconception about artists from down south.
Right.
So artists from down south getting interviews and they bumbling and mumbling and you can't understand them and they speaking in incoherent sentences. He was like, "Can he talk like T.I.? If he can talk like T.I., he'll be a star." I was like, damn, it was 03.
When you get to the South, you realize that he's a special guy right here. That's most chopped up.
Nah, it's a lot of brothers.
It's a lot.
It's a
lot
lot.
Most of them in prison, I would tell you. But it is a lot of
them. They niggas cut off every word. You know what I'm trying to say?
Nah, they just put
They
words
slur
together.
it together,
Exactly.
but they actually
they
saying
saying
something.
And you really appreciate it when you sit down and you interview a lot of these new artists.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Because they ain't got shit to say. They so socially awkward.
Hey,
I think it's because of
shit,
these
bro.
phones,
It's the
too.
phone. It is.
They
They
feel
don't
with
have
that
much
social
human
media.
interaction.
No, not at all. And I feel sorry for them. I'm like, man, stop bringing these dudes here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the growth of the Migos. Because I remember them early
when they
Migos
wouldn't talk.
interviews.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a whole meme. Right?
I remember when Takeoff was the most talkative member of the Migos.
What?
Yes.
Yep.
I remember that. But I mean, now they
they
comfortable.
into it, right.
They know who they are.
Yeah.
They able to articulate.
Yeah, the wins and the millions to do it.
Absolutely.
You're natural, bro. You got this.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for coming here
Thank
to
you for having me, my
Expeditiously,
brother.
man. I appreciate you. Now, what we do here, and one of the things we do, we have a word of the week. Now, the word of the week is usually something that is indicative of the discussion. So, for this week's word, I chose presentiment. Presentiment is a feeling that something, especially something unpleasant, is going to happen. So it's sort of like cynicism.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Use it
being
in a sentence, Five.
pessimistic.
Oh, he got to say the word of the day again one more time.
I just said it.
Presentiment.
Presentiment.
Now, what's the definition?
You wasn't even listening.
A
I was,
feeling
but I was
that
waiting.
something bad is going to happen.
Oh, yeah. This 1942 mixed with the club got me a presentiment.
No, we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop right now.
Yo, you are dangerously.
I'm not using presentiment no time this week.
Bruh.
I'm good, man.
Okay.
said
Well,
you use it.
I'll use it in a sentence. Before leaving. Okay. Before leaving the house, I had a little twinge I just couldn't shake. A presentiment that something bad was about to happen.
Damn, Shakespeare. That's a good. That's fine. That's fine. Presentiment.
Man, so there we have it, man. Charlamagne the God. And thank you so much for taking care
Peace,
of
King.
not just me, but all of the other artists from Hustle Gang, man. My son, them included.
Absolutely.
Love and respect you. And we'll continue to fight the good fight, shoulder to shoulder, standing alongside one another,
Yes, sir.
man.
Did you
We
call
move on.
B.O.B.? Speaking of Hustle Gang artists?
Nah, man, I ain't call. I don't even. He ain't called. I don't.
He didn't look happy this week.
I mean, man, listen.
Well,
We all as men, we all working through shit.
Yeah.
We all working through shit. From what I saw, though, just from what I saw, I think his unhappiness comes from a place of him still expecting the music industry to validate him. He's still looking for acceptance and validation from the music industry.
Yeah.
And as long as he's looking for that,
he'll never be happy.
Never be happy because it's just not. You got to find other things that. You got to find other ways to make your plays, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to recognize when you've got as much water as you can get out of this well and move on to the next one.
Absolutely. I see what you're saying.
It's hard, though, when you keep going to that well and it's open. You don't realize. Like,
Man.
Oh, you remember how full that well used to be.
Going.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you remember how many trips you done got there with them full buckets you done walked back and forth to the village?
There ain't no more, though.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he need to lean into his talent.
Yeah.
He's super talented.
Yeah.
Super talented.
It's crazy.
Uber. And I don't know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, what I don't want to do, what I never have done is force myself on a situation. If someone would like to speak to me, I always have an open door policy. Everybody knows they can call my phone, they can come pull up on me, and I'm going to offer the best advice, the most genuine perspective I can, even if it ain't necessarily what you want to hear.
Absolutely.
It's never been a who it did. Man, get out my phone. I ain't never kicked it like that. But at the same time, I ain't gonna baby nobody, and I can't hold no hands.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? Because we all men out here.
Absolutely.
But anytime, man, my lines are open, and if there's ever a discussion that's ever needed to be had, I'll be readily available.
Expeditiously.
Expeditiously. Thank you, man.
Yes,
Charlamagne the God.
Woo!